America's Day of the Races. We'll close out the weekend with coverage of the late Pick 5 from Aqueduct. Today's 7th is a 6-furlong sprint loaded with speed, including excellent timing. Can he out-sprint this field to the front for the hottest trainer on the circuit? We'll also have the latter half of the card from Hot Springs, Arkansas for you. In their 8th today, Ice Orchid gets major class relief after competing in 3 consecutive stakes, including a runner-up finish in a Grade 3 at Churchill Downs. And we'll revisit Tampa Bay Derby winner Tapit Trice. Is he a true Derby contender after Saturday's last-to-first run for Hall of Fame trainer Todd Pletcher? All that and more on this Sunday edition of America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Live look at South Ozone Park, New York, as we get set. 19 minutes to post in the first leg of the late Pick 5 on our Sunday program. Greg Wolf, Anthony Stabile, good to be with you.
How are you, buddy? We matched
doing well. Yeah, we didn't even plan that.
This. We don't plan it. We keep doing it, though.
All I have is blue, so it's...
what did Robert De Niro say in Meet the Parents? Circle of trust?
Yeah, we are in that circle of trust.
Yeah, we're in the circle of trust.
You're in mine.
Everything, I'm round, so everything I do is a circle.
7th today. This is a fascinating race. There is a ton of speed lined up. Big scratch, obviously, with Sidley Key coming out.
Came out late.
We talked about excellent timing in the Open. Rob Atras, he actually lost a race, which is amazing.
Yes. Jokemeister didn't get it done yesterday, but yes, he did lose the race. And here's excellent timing. This is excellent timing. The good excellent timing, finishing second to Hoo That's Me. He subsequently did not run very well. And you always want to tune into the program, but My Racing Khaleesi, Maggie Wolfendale, gives you amazing information. Maggie did not like this horse last time. He ran to Maggie's opinion last time. So it'll be, I think her opinion will be instrumental later on today. Unfortunately, that does not help with the late Pick 5 because those tickets will be in already. But as far as betting the race vertically, you'll want to hear what Maggie has to say about excellent timing. Foolish goes to number 1. The number 4, Quick Flash. They have some speed. They may not be as fast as excellent timing, but they can certainly put some hurting on them early in our co-feature, if you will, of Biagio's Rose, already in the books on this Sunday card.
Yeah, we'll look back to that a little bit later on, but that could make life difficult, certainly for excellent timing, who only has one way to go. Meanwhile, feature at Oaklawn over in Hot Springs, they got a muddy track on this Sunday card coming up. We talked about Ice Orchid in the Open, mile and a 16th. Fillies, mares, 3 and up, and she's just come out of very tough company.
Yeah, Amore is now a Grade 1 winner. I cannot believe those words just came out of my mouth. Lovely Ride has raced very well down in Hot Springs all winter and late fall into the winter long. Shotgun Hottie for Cherie DeVoe. Your second choice on the morning line. It's a nice little group of fillies and mares lined up there today. We'll see if Ice Orchid appreciates the class of relief back into the optional claimers and allowance company.
Guess who we got on the show today?
I'm going to say Paul LaDuca.
Yes, we do.
4-time All-Star.
How you doing, Paulie?
All-Star.
I'm doing well, Greg. Doing well as well, Anthony. Yeah, torrential downpours again last night, but today it's chilly and it's windy. So I think that the track may dry out a little bit. The sun is out. It's between muddy and good to me. I don't know. It seems like right now we've had a couple odds-on favorites win, so I can't really tell you how the track may be playing in here. But to get to Ice Orchid, the feature race in here, listen, this is a horse that, like you said, for John Ortiz, that is danced a lot of dances. You know, Oma Ray actually ran down Lovely Ride in her last start and then came back to win. Lovely Ride, obviously, you know, was a little bit outclassed against Secret Oath, but you see Ice Orchid and Secret Oath's running lines too, and Secret Oath was dynamite yesterday in the Zeri. So the race runs through Ice Orchid, of course, and then Shotgun Hottie obviously is the interesting horse in here for Cherie DeVoe, transferring barns to from the Bill Murray barn to hers. Now Cherie usually, when it comes to getting acquisitions, you know, she usually gives them one or, you know, is a patient trainer, but this is a horse that's a made type of horse, so I would think Cherie would have this horse ready. The interesting part in this, Greg, is that there's really no pace in that race. I mean, is Ice Orchid going to go to the front end? I would think Coastal Charm from the outside will try to wire this field, but is the one going to just be too good even if it's a paceless race?
We'll find out. Paulie, thanks. Really feels like it's one of those two fillies, either Ice Orchid or Shotgun Hottie in that feature.
Yeah, I would imagine, to answer Paulie's somewhat rhetorical question, I would imagine Ice Orchid and Ricardo Santana Jr. is just going to put him on the front end and put her on the front end, I should say, and just try and lead them from start to finish. I think that's what you do if you think you're on the best filly in the race.
Today's race is brought to you by Claiborne Farm, and here's the action ahead. We're fast in New York. Late Pick 5's coming up in 14 minutes, and we'll get to Oaklawn Race 4. They're approaching that 6-minute mark to post again on that muddy track. You can play it all by getting signed up started with Naira Bets. That is the offer for new members. $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. When you punch in bonus 200 for new members at nairabets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Anthony said we'd show you what happened earlier in the stake on the card. Timeless Journey on a roll. She's won 3 of her last 4. And how about Dylan Davis? Swept the first 3 on the card to start this Sunday program. We'll look back at that early stakes action from back in race 3 when we come back.
Demarchelier offers breeders a rare opportunity as the only son of Dubawi standing in Kentucky. Dubawi, one of the world's most celebrated stallions, is now a sire of sires. His top sons at stud are making a name for themselves across the globe. With a picture-perfect pedigree, this son of Dubawi brings one of the world's most potent bloodlines to America. Demarchelier, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome to those just joining us on FS2. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday with us here. It's America's Day at the Races, and you've joined us just in time for the start of the Pick 5 coming up here in South Ozone Park at Aqueduct Racetrack. Greg Wolf, Anthony Stabile, this first leg to kick it off. 1 mile claiming race for non-winners of 2 lifetime. Yeah,
condition claimers to kick off the final 5 races of the week here at the Big A is daylight savings time. Happy extra hour. Are you okay with losing the hour? I know some people. My mom's furious about losing the hours of sleep, but she loves the fact that the sun's out till 7 now, Greg.
I like the sun. I have 2 kids now. I get no sleep.
I haven't slept in 3 years. Doesn't matter to me.
4th at Oaklawn, and we'll get back to New York for the start of the Pick 5 momentarily. Couple minutes to post coming up in this one. Track muddy for those just tuning in. This is 6 furlongs. This for non-winners of 2 as well. And the 8-5 favorite, the 6. My Noah, Robertino Diodoro, did get bumped fairly significantly out of the break last time out. This is a horse that likes to be much more forward, was not as a result of that. Let's check in with Paul Duca for more.
Thanks, guys. To be honest with you, spring forward, spring back, whatever it is. I grew up in Arizona, and I'm going to say that is the only state you do not change times. So I kind of like that. But, you know, spring forward, spring back, whatever you guys want to go with there. I thought there was 3 horses in here. Listen, the 6 Minoa, I can't tell you. When you go back and you look at the replay of that race, I couldn't tell if Mark the Moose or Minoa was better. You know, Minoa did get stopped a little bit and was a horse that, you know, William De La Cruz couldn't decide whether to go inside or outside with the horse when he was making his move. And, you know, it just resulted in a flat kind of run towards the wire, because then Mark the Moose came rolling. Now, I understand that Mark the Moose is 1 for 19, but to me, his best races are over a muddy racetrack. He'll launch from way out of it. I do think the 3 is kind of dangerous in here. He's very, very, you know, tiny, kind of coiled up little sprinter. And, you know, the one time he got to the front end, I get it, it was in the Chris Hartman barn, but he wired him. I think he gets to the front end in here. Maybe the 8 has a little bit of speed. I do think the 6 is the horse to beat. I mean, like I said, Minoa, Robertino Diodoro sticks his horse right back in for 10. You know, and the horse has been very, very consistent since they stuck the blinkers on this 4-year-old gelding. So at 6 to 5, I'm not giving you much, but the 3 could lead this field for a long way, and I would not leave Mark the Moose out of your exotics.
Well, Paulie, thank you. There's the favor, that 6 horse. For what it's worth, we've talked about it a lot this whole meet. Robertino Diodoro, he's one of the best claiming trainers in the game, period. But certainly he dominates at Oaklawn. He's had a lot more success claiming horses in route races going long than he has in sprinting at this meet.
Yeah, this horse is a little camera shy, Greg. Debut win at Turf Paradise 15 and a half months ago. Winless since. And has been in a couple of barns. They're not Diodoro level, but 13%, 12%. Horse doesn't really have the speed to keep up with, say, a horse like the 8 Myria Coincidence. I would imagine the 3 Golden Luna is going to be the one setting the pace in here. So you're putting this horse on the chase for connections that are going to take money for a horse that, quite frankly, isn't very good.
We're going to look at Mark the Moose, a horse who comes from pretty far out of it when he is sprinting. 2 starts back, dead last early, and he started to put in a huge run on this off track, just missed by 3/4 of a length.
Beat the favorite. Beat Minoa by a length on the square. But
Minoa had trouble out of the gate, though.
He did. But, you know, this horse, he kind of runs out of real estate in the sprint races. 0 for 6 at this distance with a couple of seconds. Here's one of the second place finishes. His best race was this one, if you're looking at the Beyer speed figure scale. Overall, his better races have come on all weather surfaces up at Presque Isle Downs in Erie, Pennsylvania. I don't know what to do with him either. I mean, sprinting, he's kind of up against it. Lord M was a little interesting to me, the number 2 for Ron Moquette. He finished second in a $20,000 2 Life last time. He now, against Statebreds, he now cuts in half but runs open. So to me, it's a lateral move. He can be forward under David Cabrera. I would imagine he's going to be in the mix early behind Golden Luna.
Yeah, I mean, good point you bring up. It's really not a drop for the 2, but you see that figure last time out, and I mean, that puts him on par with Minoa, some of his better races, the 7 to 5 favorite.
He's kind of raced himself into shape too. He was making his 3rd start off of an April layoff, so about 9 months. As an Archie bred, you know, Ron doesn't ship him to Saratoga or the Churchill, which is what he does for the off season, if you will, down in Oaklawn. He didn't take him with him because he's an Arkansas bred, so he leaves him home.
This is 8 taking money, by the way, too. Second time out, broke his maiden, did it forwardly placed. We know he's going to be quick. Coming off a state-bred 30 maiden claiming win, so deeper waters here. We'll see he's up to the task. He's 5 to 1. Jim Byers the call. Our first live action of this Sunday afternoon, 4th from Oaklawn.
All set. They're off. Out from the middle, Golden Luna heading toward the lead. Myria Coincidence had a pretty quick start. There goes Lord M up the inside. Lord M to engage Golden Luna. Myria Coincidence 2.5 back in third. Talk to Toki is fourth. Decent break then, and My Noah is fifth, giving them a bit of a head start there into that far turn. Then 4 lengths back to Mark the Moose. He's well back in the field with Morning Drive, who had a bit of a sputtering early strides as they round the turn. Lord M with the advantage a half length to Golden Luna. 2.5 then, and Myria Coincidence trying stalking tactics today is third. Talk to Toki fourth, and the favorite My Noah. Fifth on the outside, not asked for a whole lot yet from Christian Torres. He is starting to move toward contention from the outside. Myria Coincidence goes to the lead here, past Golden Luna and Lord M. And here comes Mark the Moose down the middle. My Noah asked for his best, not doing enough. Myria Coincidence up on the outside, Mark the Moose. Mark the Moose is going to go on by. Then Myria Coincidence and a belated bid from My Noah. Mark the Moose wins it. My Noah close for second with Myria Coincidence. Golden Luna fourth.
Mark the Moose from well off the pace as he typically does, now 2 for 20 in his career.
Yeah, today was the day for Mark the Moose. He didn't even get that fast of a pace, Greg. Golden Luna did not set the pace. Lord M was aggressively handled by David Cabrera out of there, was able to set the pace. Again, didn't go all that quick, especially with some moisture in the track. But Mark the Moose and Alberto Pusack gets off the duck at Oaklawn for the winter. Down the crown to get the job done at 6-1.
Back to New York, late pick 5 starts here. This 1-turn mile, 40,000 claiming for non-winners at 2 life. And here's Divine Wine, speed from the inside.
Third off the claim for Gustavo Rodriguez. Drops the horse back in for a tag after showing speed going 7 in the starter allowance ranks last time.
Timed out. He's the favorite. Looks like she has a big edge, but 5 seconds in 11 starts.
Looked like she was home Jerome last time. Run Devil re-rallied to get her. Goes from 25 2 life up to the 40 ranks.
13-1 here, Justin Nyquist.
Yeah, came out of a 25 claimer off the claim last time out against Maidens. Tried that same starter level to no avail, back in for a tag.
Annihilate, second start of her career, was a distant third to Nest.
Yeah, tried blinkers for the first time on New Year's Day. Off the layoff, ships up from Laurel for Brittany Russell.
Preposterous stretching out, went by, and here's a 7 Desert Dalliance.
Preposterous back out the distances. I think she handles better. Desert Dalliance in for a tag for the first time as Kelly Breen looks for win number 1,000.
And here's Yogi taking some money for the James Bond barn, half the morning line.
Yeah, drop back in for a tag for the second start for the Bond barn. Got the job done. Big price in here, and she probably should be.
2 minutes to post. Start of the pick 5. Let's check in for the first time today with Maggie Wolfendale.
We'll take a look at your current favorite. That's number 3 in here, Timed Out, whom I liked on paper because she battled with the eventual winner that day, but she did not get off to the cleanest of starts, where she broke a bit slow. She had to go up through the field and then challenge for the lead. So that neck defeat, speaks to the fact that I think she ran probably a better race than the winner, arguably, but that was against some some weaker competition. And we have some, horses dropping, and she's stepping up off the claim here. Now, weirdly, despite her running several times in New York, in fact, this is her 7th start here at the Big A, I don't have any notes on her. And she's a bit of a heavy mare. She carries a lot of weight to her, and I know she's second off the left, and she ran well enough first off that it's probably just her. She also got very hot in the paddock and continued to do so out on the racetrack, and just seemed nervous to me. She can win here. She has big cup blinkers on too. I feel like that's probably enhanced, probably to try to get her away quicker from the gate, but often that doesn't work that way. It sometimes will backfire because they can't see the other horses breaking, the gates opening as acutely as they would with a little less of a cup over their eye. So I liked her on paper, but I'm not so sold on her watching her in the preliminaries. As a horse that I am very intrigued by is number 6, Preposterous, in here, getting back out to a distance where I just think she's much better at. Preposterous, going the mile, just physically, she looks as though she's a distance type of runner. She looks as strong as she possibly can. Now third off the layoff. That was my one complaint going back to January. And two, she looks better in her coat. I like Preposterous here. I think she just will get into her stride a lot better going this type of distances. Number 7, Desert Dalliance. She's running for a tag for the first time. She's one I don't like going longer. She looks great. I have no problems with her, and I think at times she has run a race that could win this, but it hasn't come in her last few, and I just don't think longer is the answer, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. We will find out here coming up as we approach post time for this first leg of the pick 5, 6-5 favorite timed out. The 3 deserving favorite, but there's question marks with all those runner-up finishes.
If you watch that replay, there is 0 chance I'm ever going to pick a horse on the raise, no less, after that last 16th of a mile last time out.
Figure-wise, though, Joe just really stands out against this group. Let's bring in Jonathan Kinchin. JK, how do we start things off with the pick 5 here?
Well, in real life, I'm alive in a pick 6, single to the 3 timed out. So I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told Naira Betts. Look, I get it. This is a horse that was going 7 last time, got a little bit tired. But I think there's probably some excuses in there. Came in off of a pretty significant layoff. I think the horse will take another step forward. And it's just a huge figure edge. If you look at pace figures, which I do, and I take very seriously because pace figures help us understand how much energy was used in a race. And a horse that goes, let's call it 80 early and finishes with a final number of 80 ran significantly better than a horse that goes 30 early and finishes with an 80. I think timed out is just better than these horses, and I think he spent a lot more energy. She did, last time out. I think she's going to be tough to beat. I'm going to take the 3 timed out.
Yeah, good point he brings up. That was off from April 9th until she returned on February 19th. So had a right to get tired. We'll see if she's more fit for the effort here. Second back off the bench. Short price favorite, 6-5 now, timed out. Dylan Davis looking for his 4th winner through the first 5 on the card today. Chris Griffin to kick us off in the late pick 5 sequence.
All in line. All set. And they're off. Good break. Justin Nyquist has early speed, so does Timed Out is in the early mix. Out wider is Preposterous, and the red cap is Yogi. Lined up across the track as they get set to come out of the chute. Timed Out is going to hold that rail position in between horses. Justin Nyquist is challenging for that front runners. And there comes Preposterous 3 wide. Taking off the pace now was Yogi. Gets past to the inside here from Divine Wine. And Manny Franco, they are saving ground to the inside. They're in 4th. Desert Dalliance is in between horses, is in 5th. As now Yogi is back to 6th, and the early trailer is Annihilate. At the back end of the field, about 6 lengths, the trailer. They work up the backstretch and Timed Out. Let's it out a notch. It's Timed Out, who's up by a length and a half. 23 seconds flat for that easy opening quarter mile. And now Timed Out starts to get some separation here as they approach a half mile left to go. Preposterous is now alone in 2nd. And here comes Preposterous, who's cruising up on the outside from 2nd. Desert Dalliance is challenging here to the outside of Justin Nyquist, who starts to lose ground. All in his Divine Wine as they are well into the far turn right now. It's Timed Out who's in front. Getting closer is Preposterous. Desert Dalliance is doing the same thing. 46 seconds flat for that half-mile time. They turn up the pressure here on the leader. It's Timed Out and Dylan Davis with a quarter mile left to go. Preposterous is in pursuit here in the 2-path, and Desert Dalliance is on the grandstand side. Timed Out is still finding more to the inside. Preposterous is ready to challenge now. Here comes Preposterous, and Desert Dalliance is going to be a late charge as well. Preposterous has taken the lead. It's Preposterous with a 16th to go. Desert Dalliance continues to be game and chasing, but Preposterous is 2 lengths in front, and Preposterous will get the score. Preposterous over Desert Dalliance, then Timed Out, and Justin Nyquist in 1 minute 37.87 seconds.
Preposterous stretching back out. Owned and trained by Linda Rice. Jose Lezcano aboard. Second choice kicks off the pick 5.
Boy, that was some aggressive riding on Timed Out here by Dylan Davis. 23.46 for this level. This track's dried out all the way to fast. From sloppy 24 hours ago, Greg, to fast today. I don't think it's playing that quickly. This filly went awfully fast early on and had every right to get tired. I'll tell you what, though, Preposterous was doing a lot of heavy lifting chasing her. 111-1, and she kind of pounced on her in that 111-1. Comes home with a good final time and shading 138, and gets the job done here pretty easily in a race that went really, really fast early for this level.
5-2, Preposterous, second win of her 11-race career. Again, the second choice on the board kicks off this pick 5, 6-5. Favorite defeated, 6-7. Favorite winds up third. Justin Nyquist, big long shot there in fourth. Preposterous to begin our late pick 5 sequence here in South Ozone Park. We'll have the prices for you when we come back. We'll take a look back to yesterday when we return. Points, they're there for Tapit Trice to get in that starting gate for the Run for the Roses. We'll revisit your thoughts on his performance. Last of first, he's got some issues out of the gate to sort out.
Drain the Clock will win and win by as much as he wants. He'll win by 6 in the end.
It is Drain the Clock who will bound home the winner in the Bayshore. Drain the Clock, Jackie's Warrior, a terrific finish in the Woody Stevens that goes to Drain the Clock by a head.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
The Kentucky Derby Bankroll Builder is back at Naira Bets. Bet a $50 win bet on a selected Derby prep and get $20 for your Derby Bankroll, win or lose. Opt in each week to play at NairaBets.com. Back on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Love to see these babies on the farm.
Oh.
Program brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Pick 5. First leg in the books, Preposterous, stretching back out. Linda Rice, Jose Lezcano, and a 5-2 start to the sequence.
Yeah, 780, got almost all of it. Max Jingle, buddy. That's your best friend at the racetrack. You know that, right? Yeah, good job here by Jose. Like I said, Dylan Davis aggressive with timed out, looking for the 4-bagger on the day. Jose equally as aggressive, just staying on top of timed out from the half-mile pole home, and able to get the job done, just picking her up and laying her down right around the 8th pole, holding off. Desert Dalliance 1,000, going to have to wait for the Kelly Breen barn.
First time Dylan hasn't been in the top 2 on the card today. 3 wins, runner-up, now a third. 780 for the win, Preposterous. Union Rags filly picks up win number 2 in her career. Saturday's program, we had so many great races. It was a fun one. We hope you joined us. Derby Trail, of course, that Grade 3 Tampa Bay Derby, and all this talk about this $1.3 million colt for Todd Pletcher, who got the job done. But again, these issues out of the gate remain a big problem for him.
Yeah, you know, the only time he really hasn't had any problems was last time when he faced winners for the first time at Gulfstream Park. This, you know, he just blows the brake.
I mean, he's just really slow into stride, too.
And what's amazing here is, and Maggie and I talked about it this morning, Richard Migliore talks about riding the bicycle. This is a mile and a 16th. If you watch this replay, and you can go to Naira Bets and watch the library of replays is just, it's almost endless. He rides this horse, Luis Saez rides this horse for 6.5 out of the 8.5 furlongs. He gets into a little jackpot at around the 7/16 pole and has to steady him a little bit, and he loses about a length and has to start rallying him again. He's not going to be able to do that on the first Saturday in May. He's not going to be able to break slowly. He's not going to be able to have to pedal 10 furlongs. These are things that are not going to be able to happen. I mean, I guess they can happen. He's not going to have any success if they have to happen. But there's some time for a Hall of Famer like Todd Pletcher and one of the top riders in the world like Luis Saez to figure these things out. You wish you had a little bit more time. There's only one Derby. This horse obviously has talent, right? I mean, that's not a question at this point. They're a little behind the 8 ball. When he figures it out, there's a real racehorse there.
You look at this performance, though, and try and take away some positives from it. He was supposed to beat this field. He did. One of 6 wins now in the Tampa Bay Derby for Todd Pletcher. It looks like, I mean, the more ground he gets, he's going to get better and better, it would seem.
See that? See, tap it, tap it, tap it. That's what it's all about, right? He knows how to deal with these tappets. Obviously, the tappets love the distance. The record in the Belmont Stakes speaks volumes, and I think when you look at this horse, you start thinking Belmont Stakes. More ground, more time. The more ground he gets, the less his issues will come into play. So, but you look at his talent, and you see how he gobbles up this ground, and you'd have to think that the Derby distance is not going to be a problem for him.
Now let's bring in Jonathan. Obviously still a work in progress here, JK. What do you think about that performance and him as a Kentucky Derby prospect?
Yeah, he was impressive yesterday. A horse that felt like he was really kind of up against it at many stages of the race. As far as the Kentucky Derby, the Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes is concerned, I've got zero interest in this horse at this point for a couple of reasons. One, his Beyer speed figure is not Derby, Preakness, Belmont fast. 88, he's got to get faster. Triple-digit numbers typically win those races. Now, the other thing is that his style is not how you win the Kentucky Derby. Deep closers have won. Rich Strike won last year. Giacomo. It can happen, but it doesn't happen very often. Typically, horses that are leading at the 8th pole in the Kentucky Derby are your winners. Horses that are tactical, that are forwardly placed with stamina and a lot of foundation to them. That's not really Tapit Trice. So, if he wins his next prep or if he just trains up, he's just a horse I don't have a lot of interest in until I can see him find himself a little bit more forward in the race without issues. I mean, to Anthony's point, this horse would be a knockout horse for the Belmont Stakes if he can find a way to find a little bit of early speed. But the way this horse has been running, when you're on this Triple Crown Derby trail, I kind of put X's next to horses that do a lot of things wrong. And unfortunately, at this point, Tapit Trice hasn't figured it out quite yet.
Take a look at this Kentucky Derby points leaderboard. He's obviously in there, 50 points, more than enough to get him into that starting gate. Got some things to try and sort out his next prep. I believe likely going to come in Kentucky.
So that's the beauty of the point system, Greg. And I agree with a lot of what JK just said. The beauty of the point system is this. In his next prep, Todd Pletcher can experiment a little bit. And the last thing you want to do going into the Kentucky Derby is experiment. But here, it seems like it's a necessity. They're going to have to figure out these gate woes. Todd Pletcher's won quite a few more races as a trainer than I have. I'd put a pair of cheater blinkers on him. Just a little something to kind of get him to focus a little bit more. I'm not telling you to put a full cup on him and to completely close him off from society. I'm saying you got to put a little something on him that's going to get his focus off of not being focused. And just something that maybe is going to get his mind on his business a little bit more. And with the luxury of having those points is, yeah, you don't want to have a catastrophe going into the Derby, but you have to try to do something to get this horse's mind into the game earlier than it gets into the... He can't start making his run at the 16th pole or inside the 8th pole of the Kentucky Derby. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's not just the slow out of the gate, slow in his stride. It just seems so disinterested early. But yeah, you see him picking off horses that stride when he gets going, and there is talent there. We'll see what happens next time out for him in his final prep for that first Saturday in May. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, Manny Franco, he's on a roll at this meet. Looks like he about has it wrapped up. 10-win lead with about 7 days to go. He had a 5-win day Friday. Still going strong into the weekend.
Tonalist, a 4-time Grade 1 winner with 11 triple-digit buyers, including the Belmont Stakes and the Cigar Mile. He's already living up to his potential as a sire with multiple graded stakes winners, including Grade 1 winner Country Grammar and Grade 2 winner Tonalist Shape, plus multiple 6-figure yearling and 2-year-old sales. Proven on the track, proven in the sales ring. Tonalist, standing at Lane's End.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races on FS2. We have the late pick 4 coming up next here in New York at Aqueduct. We'll get into that in a moment. Let's look back to yesterday in the feature on the Saturday card, the correction, and Rosa Veloce for the hottest trainer probably anywhere right now, Rob Atras. He's won with 8 of his last 9 runners he has sent out on this circuit, and this mare has just become a different runner the last 4 or 5 starts.
Yeah, for what they tried to put some pressure on her. You see there in the pink silks, but brushed her off, dusted her away at the 3/16 pole, and Rosa Veloce well on her way to an impressive score in the correction. They've been running the correction for about 87 years here in the Big Apple. She got the job done pretty easily yesterday over a sloppy track.
First stakes win. She's won her last 2 by more than 10 lengths combined. 9 wins from 25 starts overall. And this Atras train, Maggie, just keeps on rolling.
Yes, it does, with a win on the card today. But Rosa Veloce possibly the cherry on top of what has been a stellar week for the barn. And yeah, she increased that wet track record too to 3 for 6 overall. And she's just fast. I mean, she's just that out and out sprinting type of mare. She's compact. She's built like a quarter horse. She took pressure yesterday from Fuete, who tried to serve it up to her with Kendrick Carmouche, but she repelled that foe quite easily when they headed down the lane. And so one that, let's not forget, while this was her first stakes win, she's also a New York bred. So you would have to think that some New York bred stakes are also in her future, and she could be sitting very far in front of that division as we progress through this 23 year. Greg?
Remarkable turnaround for her ever since. What a claim. Claim for 32,000.
32,000 on September 1st. Yep.
Back to Oaklawn, and it's late pick 5 time in Hot Springs. 6 furlongs to kick it off. Arkansas bred runners, bottom level, 7,500 maiden claiming race. And this spot coming up, let's go to Paula Duca.
Yeah, a really tough spot here. Always tough spots when we get Arky breds here, Greg and Anthony. You look at the board and you look at the Will Pays. The Will Pays and the pick 5s are actually they're low, but you had a couple odds-on favorites in there. You did get the one home there in the last race. But the 4 in here is the second lowest payout, and that is Ridgepoint Road, who's not really taking a lot of money. Actually, Robertino Diodoro is right to the left of me. And I was asking him, what happened last time. He said the horse just didn't run, so we needed the drop in class of 7,500, and Christian Torres does get aboard. Ramsey Zimmerman was aboard before, but Diodoro horse at 5-1, that's very, very chilly, especially when this horse is getting played in the exotics. Maybe the horse will drop down because of that. The 10 Cruisin' Rocket is the other one for William Martin and William De La Cruz. And I'm thinking the public's thinking this horse is going to get to the front end or can at least control or get there. But I look back, the 9, who's 0 for 17, has beaten this horse at 69-1. So can the 10 get to the front end? That's why these races are so tricky in here. I thought the 8 was interesting, 20-1 on the morning line, has shown nothing. But blinkers on, and and Ricardo Santana kind of like goes, okay. The 7, Hannah Leahy, you get a bug jockey with Hannah, and this horse did show speed last time going around the ground and cuts back and was actually bet last time. So there's just so many different ways you can go. Although I think the 10 is the real money, and I don't know if the 4 is the real money. I also think the 11 could be a sneaky horse. This race is so confusing to me, Greg. All I know is I'm against the 4, and I'm hoping to beat the 10 in the pick 5.
Well, the 4, another Robertino Diodoro runner, open 20 maiden claiming last time out. In for state bred 7,500 maiden claiming. That is no question a decent drop in here for one of the best barns in the country. Certainly at the meet, you get the leading rider aboard and a horse who in the past didn't last time out, but usually shows speed.
I handicapped a lot of races this week. This was the goofiest race I handicapped all week. I didn't know what to do here. And I decided I would let the board be my guide a little bit. And I feel like the 8, based on that theory of letting the board be my guide, I have to land with the number 8, Howl, yeah. Great name, by the way. Blinkers, none of it, nothing makes sense here. This horse hasn't run since May. He gets a pair of blinkers, a 7-pound bug, Blaine Boulanger, a combined 40 lengths in defeat. He's beaten half of his rivals home, a little less than half of his rivals home, at 58, 32, and 62-1. He now cuts in half. He hasn't been seen since May of last year. He gets a trainer change from a barn that doesn't win hadn't won any races, to a guy that wins a few races here and there. But he gets Ricardo Santana Jr. to ride this horse. What?
Yeah, it is strange that Santana, one of the better riders, obviously, not only in the country, certainly at this meet.
What's going on there?
Nationwide, that he shows up on this one.
10-1?
There's
10-1, Greg.
Form-wise, almost impossible to use this horse.
Greg, 10-1. You're not going to tell me there's that many yo-yos like me out there that are going to go bet on this horse for those reasons I just gave you. Somebody's betting this horse.
10 obviously makes a ton of sense. Dropping from, that was an open 20 race when this horse put in actually a middle move in that race before flattening out. It's actually shown speed against open company as well, better. Deserving favorite. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's interesting that Santana shows up on a horse that on form, and there's the 8, has no reasons really to like. Obviously, the 7 has some, I thought the really big price on the 7, who's taken a pretty sizable drop down too.
Yeah, his morning line, I think, is a little confusing. He has that one race going 1 mile and a 16th, his second start of his career, that is a bit of an outlier as far as his figs go. His 2 sprints are not good at all. But he was claimed out of his first start, which always intrigues me, right? He's claimed out of a $30,000 maiden race as a 3-year-old. That made no sense. He took some money that day. He comes back, his 2 subsequent starts. He's 32-1 and 37-1. Takes a ton of money last time. Runs for a half mile and stops. What's his deal at 7-2 morning line? They reach out for a 7-pound bug rider. Those horses 11-1. That horse is 7-2 on the morning, 9-2 on the morning line. He's 11-1. My horse is 20-1 on the morning line. He's 10-1. Go figure.
Track been upgraded to good, by the way. We started at muddy when we first came on, so now good. And the pick 5 starts here. Next race, Jolly Tommy the 9, I thought very interesting off the claim for Cody Rosen. And that includes a competitive feature later on. Chip with Ice Orchid. Jim Byers to start us off. Here's the 5th.
Cruisin' Rocket. And the last to load is Diesel Fuel. Diesel Fuel. Richard Aramia, the final to load. All in line. They're off. Off to a good start. Work all day and Loud Boy, flashing speed, Cruisin' Rocket, the outside, Sacrament right there. And from between horses, Flashy Boy goes. Colonel Barton is part of that second flight, only 2 lengths off the lead, but Colonel Barton had to steady sharply there. Diesel Fuel is outside of him. Ridge Point Road, in behind a bit of a wall of horses, is only about 3 lengths off the lead as well. The back contingent is Howl Yeah and Full Buck Moon on the inside, and Peripatetic is trailing the field. The 11 of them circle the far turn, and Cruisin' Rocket makes his bid, and he goes to the lead. Colonel Barton in the bright pink is next. Diesel Fuel up on the outside third. Way out there is Ridge Point Road, and Howl Yeah, blinkers on, farther than him. Then Loud Boy from between. Flashy Boy goes on the inside, and down the middle, Peripatetic. Here's the stretch drive. Cruisin' Rocket with the lead to Colonel Barton on the inside. Howl Yeah, Loud Boy, and Peripatetic, the final 16th. Cruisin' Rocket has the advantage over Howl Yeah. Much better today with blinkers, but it's Cruisin' Rocket. And Cruisin' Rocket wins at a length and a half. To Howl Yeah, Peripatetic, and Colonel Barton.
Howl Yeah ran a lot better. Blinkers on. Santana off the long layup, but could not get to Cruisin' Rocket, the favorite.
Favorite gets the job done here. Wilfred De La Cruz is able to take the 2-1 favorite and put him on the front end. Howl Yeah, big sustained run from about the half-mile pole home. Going to settle for second at 9-1.
Post parade pick 4. Back in New York here, this one-turn mile. Here's Warrior Richard, who will go a mile for the first time.
Blinkers come off after 4 sprints. He's going to stretch out for the first time for Rob Falcone. Trevor McCarthy rides for the first time.
Second off, a long layoff and stretching back outlet Freedom Spring.
Yeah, Freedom Spring, another one stretching back out. Like you said, his best race was that 2-turn race at Monmouth back in May.
He's a little interesting at a big price. Steady progress, blinkers coming off.
I thought this horse was gradually getting better. Blinkers come off now. We'll see how he does. He's a big price at 13-1.
33-1. This lefty's war for Joseph Lee.
Yeah, just one board finish and 9 tries. It was 3 starts back at 68-1 in the mud.
He's won with 8 of his last 9 and still not the favorite. Rob Atras with Old Point.
This horse came from the Home Depot parking lot to get second last time out. We'll see if he can get into the game a little more going the mile this time.
Short price on a horse who was forward and just missed going longer. Slight cutback for the 7.
Yeah, got beat. Proven Hope did by a big long shot last time in Poppy on Ice. We'll see if the cutback helps him.
Stormandy with the apprentice Jason Wyas.
Yeah, just got beat ahead last time to the prohibitive favorite. Sounds spooky. He'll be forward in here.
And 29-1 outside Downtown Connector.
Yeah, it hasn't done much since the return from a February layoff from last year. Blinkers didn't help last time out.
Minute to post. Pick 4 coming up. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Bit of a process of elimination pick, who I'll get to in a second here for this race. But Old Point, he did run well first off the claim for Rob Atras. But you want to talk about, and he doesn't look this way. He's actually a pretty good looking horse, but you watch him run and he's just really uncoordinated. I don't think I've watched a horse look as awkward as he does running a race. He runs with his head in the air, his tail in the air. He punches the ground with this really high knee action. He kind of looks all discombobulated behind. He's just not my type of horse. And look, maybe the Rob Atras freight train just, bowls him along to the wire, but he's just not for me. As number 1 in here, Warrior Richard, I would pick him if he looked more convincing going longer. He just doesn't physically, but He looks as though he should be on the front end here, as Trevor McCarthy gave him a big warm-up. He's warming up well. He was a ball of energy back in the paddock, too. And he looks healthy overall. He's just built really downhill. So maybe he could see out the mile. I think he is probably the best alternative to your even money favorite, who I copped out in picking here in Proven Hope. And he is proving to be a bit of a professional loser, but I just think 9 furlongs was way too far for him. He's not built to be that type of two-turn horse. He's a little bit more compact, and watching him on the racetrack, he just solidified my pick, which I'm not proud of. I'm kind of doing a JK pick. No offense, JK.
No, well, Maggie, there's not, the craziest thing in TV and racing analysts around the world is this thing that you're supposed to be allergic to a short price horse. So what you're supposed to then do is lie to the public, because you don't want to tell him you like a short price horse. So you got to tell him you like a 6-to-1 shot who runs up the track. And then the poor guy sitting at the bar who's listening to us plays a 6-to-1 shot, where in the long run, if they were playing every day like we are, that might be the smart play. But the today play is the 7 horse. I completely agree. If you're sitting in front of a bar right now watching racing with America's Day at the Races, do not bet the 1 horse, who I think is very interesting. Bet the 7, because he's a much more likely winner. And then hopefully tomorrow you'll log in and buy some past performances, get an Ira Betts account, and then you can worry about betting on the 1 horse. I think the 7 is going to be tough to beat. Drawn outside, the best horse in the race, has the most, has some tactical speed, has the best final figures. I think the 1 is very interesting, Warrior Richard. This horse takes a lot of money, has been taking a lot of money, which is interesting to me, but at 4-to-1, drawn on the inside with question marks, I'm not cutting in line to bet this horse. Does he make sense? The 1, yes. But if you're just hanging out with us for the next hour and a half, I'd take the 7.
There he is, short price moving in. Got a little tired late, and that was at 1 1/8. He's only going to last a mile today. Proven Hope. There's a lot to like with him.
I could not disagree with everything he just said more. for the record. I wouldn't bet Proven Hope with your money today at even money.
You like the 1, correct?
I do.
Said issues just about every single time getting out of the gate, not solely his own, but he's got bumped quite a few times. He's got the inside deal to draw with. He's got the 2, who's going to be probably pretty quick early on in here as well, from Parks, that shipper, stretching out.
Hoping he follows him.
Chris Griffin, the call, pick 4 starts here.
Set. And they're off. Warrior Richard breaking awkwardly. It broke inward there as towards the tail end of the field is now being encouraged to move forward. But the leader is Let Freedom Spring. It's Let Freedom Spring, and in between horses comes Storm and D out wider. There's Downtown Connector, and Downtown Connector is in the clear. Will cross over as they come out of the chute. It's Downtown Connector now who's up by a neck. Mile pressure to the inside here. Let Freedom Spring. They're 1-2. Taking off the paces, Storm and D, and Warrior Richard after the start in the Orange Silks is now progressing with steady progress. They're 4th and 5th. Out wider, that's Proven Hope in the Yellow Silks towards the tail end of the field. Old Point is second to last, and the trailer, Lefty's War. Downtown Connector at a huge number. It's Downtown Connector who is now up by 2. 3 lengths here as they approach. A half mile left to go when 23.43 for that opening quarter mile. Downtown Connector, and Jamie Torres going to try and take him all the way. Here comes Let Freedom Spring, who's trying to re-rally, is to the inside here of Stormandy. Also running on is Proven Hope, and Proven Hope is progressing a touch wide as they're well into that turn. 46.67 for that half-mile time. The long shot is still there. Downtown Connector, another long shot. Let Freedom Spring is within range, and here comes the run from Proven Hope. Old Point is starting to launch a rally from the back end of the field as they reach the top of the stretch. Downtown Connector is still there. It's Downtown Connector at a huge number, trying to fend off the favorite Proven Hope, who's rolling down the center of the racetrack. A furlong left to go. Old Point is on the grandstand side. Can Downtown Connector get there? Is gutting it out towards the inside. Downtown Connector is almost home, but here comes Old Point in the final strides. Old Point, Downtown Connector. Downtown Connector connects at 40-1. Downtown Connector over Old Point then came. Proven Hope was in there with Warrior Richard, who finished 4th in 1 minute 38.61 seconds.
40-1 shot, able to deny the red-hot Rob Atrisbarn here, who was making up tons of ground with every single stride under Dylan Davis, but unable to catch this long shot.
Yeah, Jamie Torres just put Downtown Connector on the lead in a race where nobody else wanted the lead. Aggressive early and was able to hold off. Boy, Maggie was right about the way Old Point just has a weird action. Second longest shot on the board.
Welcome to those just joining us on SNY. Those already with us on FS2. You're watching America's Day at the Races. Greg Wolf, Anthony Stabile, pick 4 just underway, and it's a 40-1 shot. Shocker, Downtown Connector gate to wire.
Every time we sit on this set together, crazy things happen behind us, Greg. These results are, this one's, this is a head scratcher. Downtown Connector, who had never hit the board in 5 tries, does it in style for the first time, going flag fall to that's all to the tune of $80+ for a $2 mutual.
This 6 horse for Rob Atras, who trainer had won with 8 of his last 9 here on the NYRA circuit. Making it interesting late, but runs out of ground under Dylan Davis, who took the first 3 on the card today. 40-1 long shot with the apprentice Jaime Torres for the Morley Barn. West Pace is racing.
Yeah, big effort here. Big effort. I don't know where it came from. 23, and again, we see fast early fractions here, and you see some more, some fractions that make more sense late in the game as these horses tire through the stretch. But early on, they're going fast, early and often on the Sunday card here at the Big A.
Carry over.
I would imagine so. Favorite got beat in the last leg. Favorite certainly got beat in this leg. I don't remember who won the 4th race, but one of the favorites won the 4th race. So, yeah, I would imagine a carryover. This Downtown Connector, if you connected with Downtown Connector, congratulations. You deserve it.
I thought you loved the horse who won the 4th race. You don't remember?
I love the horse who won the 4th race. I just remember, that seemed like yesterday.
Downtown Connector, 40-1 long shot to start off this pick 4, 9, 6, 7, 1.
Exactly. That's a good noise for this race.
Felt like that kind of race. There's no one to really trust that much in here.
That was there were a couple of races on the card like that. This was one of them. You know, in races where horses like Old Point, who have these bad habits, and Proven Hope, who just doesn't win, Warrior Richard, who has some bad breaking habits from the gate.
Constant.
You try to look for chaos, but I mean, this is chaos that even a guy like me, who chaos seems to find around every corner, I can't find this horse.
We'll be back. We'll have the prices. We'll set up the late pick 3 coming up, and we'll look back to yesterday. Kentucky Oaks winner from last year for legendary D. Wayne Lucas. She came back brilliant with a Grade 2 Azeri victory over Clairiere. We'll take a look back next.
Here comes Malatha. Here comes Clairiere on the outside, and it's going to be Clairiere. Nest, much the best. She won by better than 10 lengths.
And Elite Power gets up to win the sprint. Outside, it's Malatha coming to the wire. Who's it going to be? Here's the wire. Oh, the wish has come true. That one's for you, Cody.
Now more than ever, it's time to get with the program. When shopping for your next race prospect, consider that New York breds start with an advantage. Our New York breds run for serious green. At Saratoga Race Meet, New York bred maidens run for up to $88,000. New York bred allowance horses run for up to $100,000. And New York bred owners can collect awards of up to $20,000 per horse per race. So get back with the program. Seriously.
Gunrunner is the sire of 6 Grade 1 winners from his first crop. He leads all stallions standing in North America by percentage of Grade 1 winners, percentage of Grade 1 stakes horses, percentage of stakes horses, and percentage of stakes winners. Owner Breeder Magazine wrote, 3 Chimneys is home to one of the most exciting young stallions in North America, one that is already eliciting comparisons with Danzig and Mr. Prospector. Gunrunner.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, FS2 SNY. It's brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, race 6 at Aqueduct, 40-1 shot, downtown connector. Leads every step of the way for a shocking victory.
It's one of those races where you're watching it unfold and you say to yourself, all right, somebody's going to come get this horse. And then Proven Hope right here. You say, okay, Proven Hope's not going to be the one, and it's Old Point. Old Point, all right, Old Point's going to get there finally. Bad stride, tails up. He's going to get there, even though he looks like he hits the ground like it owes him money. And then Downtown Connector just gets there. Those are the Oaklawn results. Ignore those.
There we go.
Those are the results.
82.50.
Wow.
If you happen to back the 9.
82.50.
If you're alive in this sequence.
I'm not.
Good luck. The rest, long way to go, obviously.
I was, and I'm no longer. That would have been an all ball, my friend.
It's going to be an incredible payoff no matter what happens the rest of the way.
Yes.
Price like that, incredible.
It could chalk out the rest of the way, and it's still going to be multiple $1,000 ticket.
Good luck to everybody still alive. Secret Oath. Been a great story for D. Wayne Lucas, and it looks like she might be an even better story as a 4-year-old.
She came back very well yesterday. That was a nice effort. She lost ground on the second turn. It didn't matter. Nothing mattered yesterday. Tyler Gaffleone, you know, it's funny when you watch her travel and you watch her run, you start to think about who her best companion would be. Tyler fit her perfectly yesterday. He left her alone. He was kind of quiet on her. And she just galloped. Clariere back for a 5-year-old campaign. Tip your hat to Stone Street and Steve Asmussen for bringing her back. She was no match for her yesterday. She really wasn't. And on paper, kind of looked that way. She has a little bit more tactical speed. She had a ton of success at Oaklawn last year. In fact, her only defeat came at the hands of the boys in the Arkansas Derby. And she really looked like she took that physical step forward from 3 to 4. She kind of looked tired, Greg, at the end of the campaign last year, and she had every right to be.
She did. She got a little bit light. She got some time off. She put on some weight. D. Wayne said she put on about 75 pounds.
She looks amazing.
These two, though, Clariere, expect better from her next time out. They will meet again likely in the Apple Blossom, that Grade 1, one of the premier events in the Distaff division later in the meet. Let's get Paulie's thoughts on that showdown from yesterday.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Greg. I think the Apple Blossom will be a little bit closer, but I'm starting to wonder now if Clariere is getting, I'm not going to put her in the category ever as in Zenyatta, but is she getting to 5 years old where the speed has just been taken out of her? She keeps on just leaving so much to do in her races and getting so far behind. Now, I said this yesterday, you know, this is a 5-year-old campaign. I don't think Steve Aspen had this horse really pointed exactly towards the Azeri. Was she maybe the best mare going into it? Yeah, but man, Secret Oath made an unbelievable impression on the racetrack. I asked D. Wayne and Tyler, my goodness, has she grown? And they both said yes. Her coat was unbelievable. She just galloped right past her foes. And you know, Anthony made a good point. She does love this racetrack, but I also think that she is improving. D. Wayne is not slowing down. I thought Tyler gave the horse, a great ride. And the Apple Blossom's going to be really fun to watch in here when they come back. I will give a little bit of love to Hot and Sultry. I think Hot and Sultry, obviously not in the same class as those two horses, but when they back that horse up, beware for that Norm Cassie runner.
Fun to watch, though, last year's Oaks winner come back like that in her first start of the year for D. Wayne. Biggest figure, too, that she's ever run in her career.
She was a nice filly last year. She ran out of some steam at the end of the year. 9-race campaign, a couple against the boys. Runs into eventual 3-year-old filly champ Nest a couple of times up at the Spa. That was a different filly yesterday. That was a different filly yesterday. And I'm going to tell you what, that division's going to have their hands full with that filly yesterday if she is managed properly. I don't know about a 9 or a 10 race campaign. She started early enough in the season where, Wayne they can get away from Wayne a little bit.
She's going to dance some dances.
She's going to dance some dances. She's going to dance some dances. And Clariere, I think Paul's right. Steve will probably let her run herself into shape a little bit with eyes at Belmont Park because she's a one-turn machine. She loves it over at beautiful Belmont Park. And I would imagine the defense in the Phipps is certainly on the menu for Clariere.
We'll be back with a Sunday feature coming up next from Aqueduct. Excellent timing. Rob Atras Barn. Rare defeat in the last race. We'll see if he can get back on track with his speedster coming up.
And they're off in the Curlin, Florida Derby. After 3 quarters in 1:12.1, Known Agenda is now on to take over the lead. It's Known Agenda for St. Elias Stable. Florida Derby winner, Known Agenda.
Back at America's Day at the Races. Good to be with you on this Sunday card. Our feature coming up next in New York. 6 furlong sprint and a New York bred allowance optional claiming field. Talked at the top of the show about excellent timing. The speedster for Rob Atras, Manny Franco, 5-win day on Friday. Rob Atras Barn had won with 8 of his last 9 until another defeat in that last race. Still, he is on fire right now. This one, though, has to have the lead. There's a lot of other speed in here.
Yeah, Foolish Ghost from the rail, the number 1, Quick Flash, the number 4 from mid-pack, and you have excellent timing, all signed on, all, quite frankly, Greg, they're all need-to-lead types, and something's going to have to give. And here, excellent timing, probably the speed of the speed. Maggie had great insight into excellent timing last time. I wonder what she has to say this time.
Let's find out. Let's go to Maggie.
Well, I think my job is a little bit easier this time because even on paper, it doesn't look as though he could win. Just because, as Anthony was saying, there's just so much other speed in here. So last time I took a big stand against him because I did not like the way he looked, but it looked as though he was an overwhelming favorite and most likely to win. So today I feel like I have a little more leeway. But he ran during a period of time in which Rob Atras wasn't here in New York that much. He was actually out at Oaklawn, and his horses just didn't look quite as good. And now they're running really well. They look better, and excellent timing falls into that category, at least relatively speaking to what I saw from him last time. He looked as though he kind of washed out in the holding barn, presumably. He wasn't carrying as much weight. His coat didn't look as good. And today, it's moving in the right direction. Now, to be fair, I've also never really been his biggest fan. He's just a horse that never really went on physically from a 2-year-old. And again, his job is tough today with the presence of number 1, especially Foolish Ghost in here, who I think is intriguing for the fact that he's a reclaim by Ray Handel and not a reclaim by previous owners. So it feels as though Ray is the one who really wanted this horse back. Look, I don't see where he can win today. He did get a little washy in here, but I think, you know, his presence just makes it that much more of a compelling race due to what kind of speed scenario are we going to see here, Greg?
It'll be interesting to watch early on in here. I mean, this horse right here, Foolish Ghost, he has big back class, former stakes winner. He's quick, and now the blinkers come off. He could break out of the gate clean. Might have some interest late.
Yeah, I like a horse. I can't believe the horse I like in here is the price he is. I like Rider's Regret, and I like him a lot in here. I think he can work out the right kind of trip. He's 9-1. He's the longest shot on the board by twice the price of the next longest shot on the board. I was surprised by that. I thought he got a terrible ride last time. And I love the switch to Trevor McCarthy. I think he gets a perfect pace scenario in here. Now 8-1. I love the price on this horse today.
He is the biggest price on the board in this one. A lot of seconds for him. Did win 2 back, 6 furlongs, state bred A other than. As you can look again at the 8-year-old Foolish Ghost, there's Rider's Regret, who you like. Trevor McCarthy pretty recently came back from injury. Good to see him back.
My man Ralphie D, part of the Finger Lakes contingent. Guys from Finger Lakes came down here and had a really good winter. Won some races. Ralph, Paul Barrow, to name a couple.
Paul Barrow's got an interesting one later on in the card. We're going to get back to that race coming up. We go to Hot Springs. Pick 4 begins in race 6. Mile and a 16th in this 50,000 claiming race. Horses who've not won 3 lifetime in this spot. I talked earlier about Jolly Tommy. Paulie, the 9-horse, big figure last time out, got claimed out of that race.
Yeah, he was giant last time. And I'll tell you what, he looks amazing on the racetrack. Makes a good appearance and enters a new barn. But, you know, he comes out of Cipriano Contreras barn, and he's running right back. He had a good setup last time, but I'm with you, Greg. He really went away from that group that day, and you're getting 8-1 on him right now. You know, the money's going towards the Tom Amoss runner, and I get it, Slim Man. This horse is a horse that is running well. Since Tom claimed this horse, not many people will claim for Brad Cox, number 1. Not many people will claim for Brad Cox for $75,000. That's not $7,500. And, you know, one race over a sloppy racetrack. Then he took this horse to Delta Downs and a win with Victor Del Cid. Victor Del Cid's a heck of a rider, by the way, and is the leading rider there. Lost. My worry is that this horse lost last time as your favorite, now drops down to 50 under the claiming price. And does the Delta Downs form, will it transfer over? Now, this horse does have a couple races here at Oaklawn when, you know, he lost at 70 cents on the dollar at March here last year. So you get Torres. I get where they're going, but I don't know if I'm in love with the 8. The horse that's taking the money is the 7. Red Run for Steve Asmussen. You see a lot of grade 3s, a lot of grade 2s. You know, the American Derby at Churchill Downs, I was there. I guess it's a good effort. Rattle and Roll comes from the clouds. He won the St. Louis Derby. And maybe this is a drop in class, but at 5-2, I got to pass there. Texas Red Hot, the 6. I was surprised that Francisco Arrieta got off the 9, but maybe that's just a choice by the new trainer. But I thought that horse had a little bit of look. But I think the 1 record point is just getting kind of dismissed with Torres leaving. This horse has lost a Hit Show, Verifying, Gun Pilot, 2 Eagles River, Disarmed. I mean, by far the best horses that any of these horses have ever faced. You're getting 5-1. Lucas is on fire. I'll take Gabriel Saez and the Hall of Famer, the coach here, record point from the rail.
Yeah, it kind of stood out who his horse has been facing. You know, 2 Eagles he mentioned last time. That's a horse who was second, beat a neck to victory formation. Got a 91 buyer in that win. A couple of horses who were on the Derby trail. One of them still is for Brad Cox. But early on in the year, a 3-year-old facing older company here.
Yeah, you see that a lot down there at Oaklawn. They start with the cheaper maidens, and then they gradually introduce it to the better company and the higher company. Yeah, this was a tough race to get through as well, because you have quite a few horses dropping in for the tag, and the horses that have run for the tag, quite frankly, have been not very good in this condition.
Some hidden dirt form, JK, for the horse who's the favorite now. Red Run has not got past the betting public.
Yeah, but it's one of those kind of like coattail effects, I think, on that fast number. It was because its horse was facing better, right? I mean, if you look at the past performances, depending on which speed figures you're looking at, that American Derby on the dirt, where he was third, beaten 5, that's like arguably Red Run's best number, and I don't buy that. I don't buy the fact that this horse was meant to be a dirt horse and Steve Asmussen has just been jamming him into turf races. I think this horse is probably better on the turf, and I think that number that you're talking about that kind of has that hidden dirt form, I think that number is a little bit elevated. We know about the coattail effects in politics at the midterms, right? I think this happens in speed figures too. I think some horses behind good horses kind of get sucked along and get a little bit of a faster figure than they deserve. And I don't think Red Run makes any sense to me at the favorite. I'm going to go with the 8 Slim Man towards the outside for our man Tom Amos. He's drawn outside of the main competition according to the tote board, and the 7 Red Run. He's got tactical speed, and he's really seemed to improve for Tom since Tom's gotten him in his barn. You know, he ran okay with a speed figure number. Then he kind of had another jump and ran well last time at Delta Downs. And Tom could have left this horse at Delta Downs. Could have left this horse down there at Delta Downs. I'm sure Tom's got some Cajun fella down there helping him out. He could have left him down there, but he decided to bring him up here to Oaklawn. I like the 8 Slim Man.
All right, JK, Slim Man missed by a neck last start in the slop Delta Downs sprinting. Before that, 6-length dominant win. And I like that race at Churchill, that mile race. That horse got a huge figure that day.
Yeah, I just don't know about him going the 2 turns. The one race, and it's hard to really get a good gauge because the one race was in the slop. And he stopped early, but he came back with a good race over a sloppy seal track at Delta last time out. Now, one's at Fairgrounds, one's at Delta. I get that. I thought the 2 Conspiracy Fact was a little interesting in here. Can't believe the price he is. 9-1. He just doesn't want to be bothered on the front end. When he's left alone, he's allowed to settle just off the pace and make one run. He's a completely different horse. And I think Nick Juarez will let him do that. At least I hope he will.
One of the best figures for anybody last time out. It was that 9 Jolly Tommy. We'll see if he can back it up for a new barn off the claim. That came at Oaklawn going a mile last time out. Jim Byers, the call. Pick 4 starts here.
And last in is Jolly Tommy. Nine of them all in line. And they're off. Wrecker Point missed the break. Slim Man won from the outside. Charging off early on. Then Conspiracy Fact on the inside and Jolly Tommy. Ice Blast is 4th. Red Run 3 wide and 5th into that clubhouse bend. Then a gap of 2.5 to outrun him and Notary. And the back pair is Texas Red Hot on the outside of the slow-breaking Wrecker Point. Slim Man, Christian Torres, shows the way to the backstretch here by a length. Jolly Tommy to the outside. Conspiracy Fact is racing 3rd. 2.5 then. And it's Ice Blast racing in tandem with Red Run. Ice Blast is the inner more of the 2. And then it's a gap of 2.5 to Wrecker Point. He's gotten by Outrun 'em. The back pair are Notary and Texas Red Hot. Half mile to the finish. And up front, it's still Slim Man. It's a relatively narrow margin. Jolly Tommy has been pressuring. Conspiracy Fact is awaiting clear sailing. Red Run in the clear on the outside. 3 wide up the backstretch. He's 4th in the white cap. And right in between horses, Ice Blast is very much into contention to the quarter pole. Now Notary is starting to pick them off from the backfield. Wrecker Point is on the inside. And then outrun them. And Texas Red Hot Red Run has made the top, at least a joint lead as he comes through the stretch here. Notary continues a potentially punishing rally. Jolly Tommy, Conspiracy Fact is coming through strongly on the inside. And here's Nick Juarez and Conspiracy Fact. He's going to put them all away. Conspiracy Fact draws away to Red Run. Wrecker Point may have caught Jolly Tommy for 3rd. Photo there.
Conspiracy Fact. Back-to-back wins now for the Greg Compton barn. Nick Juarez.
Good job by Nick Juarez, saving all the ground and being patient here. This horse was jammed up early behind the speed, and when the speed started backing up there, Slim Man, he had nowhere to go. Patient, went back to the inside, got the job done, and won by an easy 3 lengths.
8-5 on this horse right here. We all understand the kind of run the trainer of this horse, Rob Atras, has been on, but looks like he is potentially very compromised pace-wise in here.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if this horse is able to clear here, it would be nothing short of remarkable. Now, he's the quote-unquote speed of the speed, but Foolish Ghost came to life in his last few starts on the front end. You'd imagine Quick Flash has no other speed at this point but go. I have to imagine is that they're clashing on the front end in here, Greg.
Back to Maggie.
And I'm going to side with Anthony here. Hope it's not too much weight on number 3, Riders Regret in here. He's a little bit of a pet of mine. And I agree. It was kind of just a passive ride, I think, last time, which he needs to be kept forward. But then again, if, and it's always a major if around here, the pace develops as predicted, he doesn't really need to be right on top of the pace. And he just continues with each and every start physically to look better, to be more relaxed, to not get washy, to get more defined and chiseled overall. So I like what I'm seeing from Riders Regret, but I got to give it to number 7 on the outside, First Deputy. Lolita Shigmangul has this horse looking better than I have ever seen him. One that used to get nervous, one that used to not carry his weight, and all that is rectified. JK, real quick.
Speed of the Speed, the 6, excellent timing. I tried to get creative with a few other ones, but the ones that caught my attention had the same running style. I cannot take a lesser speed horse against a superior speed horse. It's against my religion. I'll take the 6, excellent timing.
All right, 8-5 for JK Public going there as well. The 4 is going to try and battle up front. The 1 is, maybe the 2 as well. Should be a hot pace early, along with this guy right here. 7th from Aqueduct, feature on this Sunday card. Watch that pace battle early. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
All in line. All set. And they're off. Excellent timing, breaks very well. Also, Warriors Revenge. They're 1-2, and Hard sent at the rail as Foolish goes to join them. 3 across the racetrack, and they're flying early. 3 across the track here, pumped up, opening quarter coming. It's excellent timing. Who's to the outside of Foolish Ghost, who will not give up that rail position. Backing off the pace was Warriors Revenge, is now back to 3rd, followed by Riders Regret is there with the gray. That's Quick Flash. The trailer, First Deputy. They've got less than 4 furlongs to go, and shuffling back there at the rail was Foolish Ghost. They went 22 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. 7-5 on excellent timing, who's trying to kick clear. Has company here from Warriors Revenge and Kendrick Carmouche. They've taken 2nd to the outside of Foolish Ghost, who lost that ground but is trying to re-rally to the inside. The closers aren't making that run yet. First Deputy and Jason Wyas trying to launch a rally there. Still 5 off the lead. They approach a quarter mile left to go, and they reach the top of the stretch. Excellent timing is now opening up on the field. Excellent timing is up by 3-4 widening lengths. The only one with the shot is going to be First Deputy from out of the pack. A furlong left to go. Excellent timing is just powering away. It is all excellent timing. It's just moving through the stretch, and excellent timing. Geared down. What a performance here. Excellent timing crushes. First Deputy over. Warriors Revenge there for 2nd and 3rd. Then came Riders Regret in 1 minute 9 and 4.
They were motoring, or I should say this horse was motoring early. Just a dominant performance. Rob Atrisbarn, 9 wins with his last 11 starters here in New York.
Yeah, this was something. This horse was absolutely attacked by Foolish Ghost and Warrior's Revenge for the first quarter of a mile here. And for a horse who, I'm trying to be nice to him here, he has been a little faint-hearted throughout his career. He was like William Wallace this afternoon. Just took them all on, put them away, and won by the length of the stretch. Remarkable run.
One of the quicker times we've seen the entire meet at 6 furlongs.
Today's Flavor went a sub 110, 6 furlongs a few weeks back. There was a 6.5 furlong race that was run the same weekend or soon thereafter that had a sub 110 split. But I think as far as 6 furlong races go, there have been 2. Today's Flavor winning an open AFN, and this.
This is impressive. 6-7-2. Wins as a 7-5 favorite, and it has been extremely difficult to stop this run that this Rob Atrisbarn is on here in New York. We're going to take a timeout. When we return, story of an up-and-coming trainer out in Hot Springs who is picking up some major clients in a very short time in the game. The story of Lindsay Schultz when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
Warfront. This son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires. Ranked #1 by percentage of stakes winners, graded stakes winners, and Grade 1 winners. No stallion has a better strike rate. Warfront is the sire of over 100 lifetime stakes winners, including some of the sport's most talented runners both at home and abroad. The leading turf sire of 2022 by stakes winners and stakes performers. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Harris Farms, proudly standing Smiling Tiger, a triple Grade 1 winner, defeating Breeders' Cup champions Dancing in Silks and Amazombie, a leading California sire with over $9.7 million in progeny earnings, with 94 winners in 2021 and graded stakes superstars like Spice Perfection.
Spice Perfection wins the Grade 1 La Brea.
And Tiger Dad. Smiling Tiger, a leading California sire, standing at Harris Farms. It pays to be Cal bred.
Tampa Bay Downs has a rich thoroughbred horse racing history in Florida dating back to 1926. Celebrities such as Babe Ruth, Jack Dempsey, and John Ringling all attended opening day. In 1981, Hall of Fame jockey Julie Crone won her first career race here, and in 2007, we saw Street Sense win the Tampa Bay Derby and go on later that year to win the Kentucky Derby. Featuring full fields, great turf racing, and a 15% takeout on our Pick 5. Tampa Bay Downs is live racing every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Back with you on our FS2 and SNY coverage of America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by Naira Bets, where you can play all the action. Go to nairabets.com and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Fastest 6 furlongs of this meet. We saw it last weekend on the Tom Fool by Little Vic, 109.73. Excellent timing, goes 109.83. Here in the feature on this Sunday card. He was flying. Our winner circle lead-in brought to you by Fasig Tipton Digital, North America's #1 digital auction platform for thoroughbreds. Fasig Tipton Digital, the newest from the oldest. Learn more at digital.fasigtipton.com.
Yeah, the difference between Little Vic and Excellent Timing is Excellent Timing did it all. He did all the work. Little Vic was able to come pick things up. The Little Excellent Timing put away Warrior's Revenge, put away Foolish Ghost. 2 fast horses. Hendrik Carmouche was on his belly on Warrior's Revenge. You didn't even see him. They looked like one. They looked like Warrior's Revenge just had a green hump sticking out of his
Foolish
back.
Ghost, yeah, didn't want to give up that inside post early, and then eventually just had to back away.
No choice. They had no choice.
$4.80 for the victory. You see that pick 3 with that 40-1 shot earlier on? $554. That means if you're alive in this pick 5, you're in line for big things. We wish you the best. Downtown Connector, the horse that's probably going to result in a carryover in the pick 6 with 2 legs still remaining. Possibly someone used all there.
Possibly. I mean, I can't find Downtown Connector any other way. Good luck if you did. You're a braver man or woman than I am.
Back to Oaklawn. Race 7 is next. 6 furlong sprint, 35,000 starter allowance coming up. And Jackman taking plenty of support right now. The 3-1 favorite, Christian Torres, will be aboard. As we get set for this one coming up in a moment. For someone who just went out on their own pretty recently in the fall of 2021, trainer Lindsay Schultz is making some major inroads. In addition to Oaklawn, she's also won races at Monmouth, Churchill Downs, Delaware, and Colonial Downs, picking up some big-time clients along the way.
I always wanted to train myself, especially since I've worked longer at the track and been an assistant, and I know how hard I work and how hard trainers work, and that never scared me off, and it was always something that I thrived on. And I always wanted to also own my own business. You know, both of those things made it something that was appealing to me and something that I wanted to do.
Lindsay Schultz's foundation to becoming a trainer runs deep. She grew up riding hunters and jumpers in Connecticut and got her first job mucking stalls before becoming a teen.
Honestly, I didn't really watch much racing until I went to college. It took me a little while to get into it, but once I did, I didn't stop.
She chose the University of Louisville not because it's located in the heart of racing, but to ride on its equestrian team, and most importantly for the school's equine studies at the College of Business.
So that was kind of one of the things that drew me to Louisville, because a lot of the other equine programs don't have a business program to back them up. I try to be logical, and it made sense to learn the business side of it.
After graduating from Louisville, Schultz learned the game globally through a 2-year internship at Darley's Flying Start Management Training Program. The past decade, she worked as a longtime assistant to Tom Proctor, managed Glen Hill Farm in Florida before going to work for Shug McGahee. Then in November of 2021, Schultz finally felt it was time to go out on her own.
It was really important to me to really understand every part of the business, especially since I didn't grow up in it. I don't have parents in it. I wasn't born on a horse.
Schultz's euphoric moment happened in just her 7th career start. The appropriately named Capture the Glory took charge in the stretch.
Capture the Glory is still strong, and this is going to give trainer Lindsay Schultz her first career victory. Capture the Glory indeed. Congratulations go to trainer Lindsay Schultz for her first training victory.
There's definitely horses that we can build on, and it's exciting to kind of get started and get the ball rolling.
Relatively new in her career, out on her own. Just started, as I said, a couple of years ago, 10 Strike Racing behind her, and now John and Anthony Shortleaf Stable giving her some horses as well.
Yeah, a storied past for the Loblolly Shortleaf, the chocolate brown and yellow. Yeah, I mean that's a powerhouse behind you. She does a fantastic job. You know, you don't feel like you're not getting your money in the middle well when you're betting on one of Lindsay horses. So, and that's the most important thing for a bettor. And obviously, when you have owners like that, you're in pretty good shape.
Going to sit out American Pure from the outside post in this race. Lindsay Schultz, 3 starts back, ran a figure that would decimate this field. Didn't back it up the next 2 starts, but that talent is there for this 4-year-old right now. Odds just went away, but we'll see one of the 11.
Yeah,
wow, big
price.
We'll be back. Meets leading rider Christian Torres. He's got a contender coming up in Jackman for Carl Broberg, coming off a win last time out. He's up 12 for that riding title at this Hot Springs meet. Stay with us. Would you believe that champions weren't measured by rings, but by a crown? That the history books were written on dirt? That the greatest of all time was a horse.
He is moving like a tremendous machine.
Experience the magic at this year's Belmont Stakes as we honor the 50th anniversary of Secretariat's legendary Triple Crown triumph. Join the celebration at Belmont Park on Saturday, June 10th. Tickets on sale now at BelmontStakes.com. Good to be with you on this Sunday afternoon here on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. SNY with us as well. Greg Wolf, Anthony Stabile, the rest of the team. Also, we got the 7th coming up at Oaklawn, race 8 at Aqueduct as well. The 7th at Oaklawn, we just saw we thought it was going to be a competitive sprint, and horse ran away with it. This one looks like it might be a little more competitive.
Yeah, this is a fun race coming up at Oaklawn Park. We'll see these starter allowance races down there. They play by a little bit of a different set of rules. They let you continuously run in the starter races, so you see rivalries, for the lack of a better term, which are fun because these horses get to compete against each other all meet long. Up here, you get to win it and they kick you out. But down there, you see these horses compete against each other for 4 or 5 months.
You get to know each other well.
Yes.
Earlier on the card today in New York, Biagio's Rose early stakes action. It was Dylan Davis who dominated the card to begin the day.
First 3, including this aboard Timeless Journey. She was kind of in the box here, Greg. You see Know-It-All Audrey chasing after Impossible Donna. Know-It-All Audrey in the blue, about to make the lead here, but it's going to be a short-lived lead, as Timeless Journey is going to make it 2 in a row for Dylan Davis. 3 in a row on the day, 2 in a row after winning a 9-furlong allowance race last time, and very easily takes this running of the Biagio's Rose. Pulled her up pretty quickly, too, after the wire. She got the job done, pulled her up before the clubhouse turn and said, come on, Mama, let's go home. Go take a picture and go home. So, nice effort
day's
today.
work. She's won 3 of her last 4. 7 wins from 18 starts overall. She's 4 for 5 here at Aqueduct. Only defeat a runner-up finish in incredibly sharp form for trainer Ray Handel. And what a start to the day again for Dylan Davis, who's chasing Manny Franco here, but running out of time at the meet.
Yeah, I think it's double digits for Manny, double digits for Christian Torres down at Oaklawn Park. Their meet a little longer than this meet at Aqueduct, even though we're here until
7 more days in the winter meet,
right? 7 more days in the winter meet. We end the meet. The new meet starts March 30th, I believe.
Oaklawn 7th. We'll get to in a moment. First, the 8th from Aqueduct. And 6-5 favoritism. Oh, this is a tough race here. 1 turn mile starter optional claiming field. It's Pebble Lane for David Duggan, Manny Franco, who's a 6-5 favorite.
This is what happens when the 4-5 morning line favorite, the number 6 Frigid Lady, scratches.
Single for many out of the race.
Yeah, and you get left with a new favorite, 6-5, like you said, Pebble Lane. I picked Pebble Lane, but I thought there was an interesting horse in here. You conspiracy theorists out there may want to get your pad and pen out, because I think the interesting horse is the number 5. Bella Michelle, who gets LASIK for the first time and is trained for the first time by
Mike Maker, who had
trained the number 6, Frigid Lady. There you go, gang. We didn't go to the moon. Mike Maker scratches the favorite to get this one. That's a popular conspiracy.
9-2 on the 5. Let's go back down to Maggie.
Anthony, my dad, one of those people that believe that we never went to the moon. Anyway, taking a look at this field, and we'll get to Bella Michelle in a moment. But let's start with not my namesake, but number 1, Maggie T, as she's going to stretch out first off the claim for Linda Rice. And from the overall perspective, I actually really like what I'm seeing from her. She's one that, when she showed up as a 2-year-old, you just felt as though she was very much a baby. She really didn't have that physical prowess that you felt as though she could develop into that. And she is reaching that now. She's put on more conditioning. She just overall looks a lot more athletic today. And she projects to be forward in here. At least you would have to think so with that rail position. Just go with her. And given her pedigree and the way she looks, and the fact that she's actually a lot more relaxed than what she often can be, I think she should be A-okay trying this distance. And first off the claim here, she is getting a lot of attention on the board, though drifting up a bit here from 3-1 to 7-2. Currently, yeah, number 5, Bella Michelle. She'll stretch out here for Mike Maker. I wish she looked a little bit better in her coat, but I think she should really like going longer. And yeah, there's always reason to believe that scratching you often wonder, do trainers put 2 horses in a race to get the race to go for one of those said horses? And Frigid Lady, while she overlaid this field, she was going to have to ship up from Kentucky to participate. And so it always felt like maybe Bella Michelle was just the more logical one to run here in a way, just logistically speaking. So she's very intriguing. I like what I'm seeing from her trying this distance too for the first time. Now, number 8, Pebble Lane. I don't necessarily like her going longer. I don't think she wants to go further than 7 furlongs at a push. She's one that gets herself riled up before her races. She's built a little bit more sprintery. She looks great here. I mean, Dave Duggan's horses they are always really well physically turned out, but I'm just not convinced with the distance question with her. And I did notice, oh yeah, she's been wearing this Houghton bit for her 2 starts for the Duggan barn, Greg.
7-5 favorite from that outside post. We'll see if she can get this distance as we approach the 11-minute mark to post. Have you seen Capricorn 1?
No.
No, you should check it out. It's about a mission to Mars faked by the government, never happened.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Like Maggie's dad, I don't believe we ever went to the moon.
Okay, we'll talk off air.
And like Pebble Lane, I like to get myself riled up before going a distance. I like to get myself pumped up before going into a fight, going into a race. I don't race. I like to hulk up.
You have a walkout song coming onto the set.
I do. I like to. A couple of different ones. I like to get myself pumped up. Here's Pebble Lane finishing 2nd. This was her first start. Our colleague here on America's Day at the Races, Rick Schosberg, retired at year's end 2022. And the horses, the bulk of the horses, the Clear Stars horses at least, were sent over to Dave Duggan. This was her first start for Dave. She finished 2nd to Fancy Azteca. I can see what Maggie's saying. Maggie's the expert here. I can imagine. I can see why she doesn't think this filly's going to want to go the mile. She did win going 7. It was a very slow final time. It was a very slow speed figure. It was a hungry field. But we'll see if she can handle the extra 1/8 of a mile today.
I don't understand how anyone could be 3-2 in this race. We get back to Oaklawn Race 7, 6 furlongs, 35,000 starter allowance. And a competitive sprint coming up. Paulie, who do you like?
Yeah, it is a very competitive sprint in here. And Jackman right now is taking all the money for Christian Torres, a horse that's very, very fast and is sharp right now. There's some other horses in here that are pretty quick as well. You have Cold as Hell, the 4. Dark Timber, the 6, for Norm Cassie is 2 for 2 at this racetrack, and you're getting 5-1. The Scratch of Lieutenant Junior Grade, the 5, didn't do much to the race, although he's kind of a win machine, but he launches from way out of it, where you have a lot of runners in here that do want to be up on the pace. I think the one is taking some money here, Ultimate, because they do think that if they do go crazy early here, with Jackman maybe going to the front end, Dark Timber pushing the pace, Cold as Hell, and some others in here, that the one will be the one that could maybe launch from way out of it. I thought the 8 was interesting, Devil's Tower. This horse was very, very sharp last time. I mean, just broke like a rocket. Has shown to rate before, and 5 for 9 at this racetrack. And you're getting 7-2 in Francisco Arrieta board. Chris Hartman having a monster lead. We were talking about Lindsay Schultz. She's done a tremendous job. She's claimed this horse for 30 and got a W from Grabatina Diodoro. People don't want to claim for Diodoro, but she did and got the job done. And you're getting 9-1 here. So this race was so confusing to me. I mean, I made a small little play on the 6 Dark Timber because I'm getting 5-1 in Santana. And that's all I can really give you in here. I just don't really love a lot in here. Jackman I'm not really in love with. And to get to the moon part, I'm just going to take the Snagglepuss way. Stage left. Exit stage left on that one, Anthony. There's footage.
TV never lies.
Paulie. Love Paulie. This footage.
You're serious, though. You don't believe it, right?
I'm serious as a stroke, my man.
Okay. 5-2 favorite is Jackman. Christian Torres, meet leading rider for Carl Broberg, trying to go back-to-back. This horse winning last time out at 13-1. Now you got to settle for 5-2 favoritism.
Yeah, one of the oldest adages in racing, right? Didn't go to the wedding. Why am I going to go to the funeral? This horse was a giant price last time, got the job done. They take advantage of being able to win that big pot and now run for half the money in what is, in theory, a much easier spot. And they find a salty starter 35 here, man. There's some tough horses in here, horses that have been running in the allowance ranks. Got stage left, the number 7, shipping in from New York, first time off a private purchase from the Kanamachis in America's Pastime Stable. First time for David Jacobson, who owns and trains stage left. Devil's Tower, who Paul mentioned, 5 for 9 down at Oaklawn. He had a rough trip at Fairgrounds. He kind of cheated with him last time for the 30, right? I mean, I can't believe nobody bit for the 30,000 last time. What a base on balls this was to get this horse re-eligible for this race. And now he's drawn outside of his main rivals in here and the main speeds in here. Arrieta can play the break. I mean, I would imagine Dark Timber's going to go, and he just camps out outside of Dark Timber. I can't believe, with the amount of horses that get claimed down at Oaklawn Park, Diodoro, one of those guys, didn't go in for this horse last time. Absolutely stunning to me.
Company-wise, the toughest I think anybody's facing this field, probably the 7 here, stage left. David Jacobson, a little bit of a struggle for him with the limited amount of runners he's bringing to Oaklawn. This horse has faced some good ones. So Pirate Rick last time out, Milton the Monster, Amundsen. It's been competitive with that group as well. Got a 94 Byron, a win in New York. That's the 7, Isaac Castillo. And Lindsay Schultz, of course, with the 9 American Pure from that outside post. Jim Byers, the call, race 7 from Oaklawn.
Jackman is in. Cold as hell. They're all in line. And they're off. And Dark Timber outbreaks the field. Cold as Hell is trying hard. Jackman prominently placed. Devil's Tower is 4th. Length and a half then to stage left. American Pure on the outside and Chief Ron on the inside. And Ultimate is trailing the field. Jackman has sprinted through on the inside. He's wrested the lead away from Dark Timber by 3 parts of a length. Devil's Tower on the outside races in 3rd. Cold as Hell on the inside is 4th. And then it's stage left from between horses and American Pure on the outside. He's about 4 lengths off the lead. Chief Ron is with that contingent. And at the rail is Ultimate. Fairly tight pack for the 8 of them as they come to the top of the stretch. Jackman confronted now by Dark Timber from between, and here is Devil's Tower on the outside, and Jackman has dropped back on the inside. Here's Devil's Tower going to the lead, past Dark Timber. Jackman is trying to fight on, though, on the inside. Then Cold as Hell and Ultimate through the stretch. Devil's Tower, a short lead. Devil's Tower leads at the final 16th. Then Jackman and Dark Timber. It is Devil's Tower, a true horse for course, winning again over Jackman, Ultimate, and Dark Timber in a photo for show.
Tower, tremendous meet for Chris Hartman, continues 6 wins from 10 starts here in Hot Springs.
You know, I've been, and we've talked about this, Craig. I've been helping a friend of mine, Eddie Bayer, run a stable up here. We got 5 horses with Amira Shashakli. So I've been looking at things a little differently, not just handicapping, but looking at horses. This horse going into the race last time was 4 for 8 at Oaklawn Park. There were 2.5 months, 3 months left in the meet. Nobody claimed this horse for $30,000 at Oaklawn last time. He's an ATM machine in Hot Springs.
He is. Back to New York. Maggie T kicks off the post parade.
Maggie T got the job done, 3 back, claimed from Eddie Barker for Linda Rice. First time, going to stretch back out. Going to stretch out to a mile for the first time.
And probably the one in front in here. Shazi, 2 sprints, stretching out.
Yep, stretching out for Dave Donk. Got the job done at a big price first time out. Ran sneaky well last time against Fancy Azteca.
Wow, Joey the Fish taking money. 20-1 down to 8-1. Here's the 4, Hypnocurrency.
Joey the Fish out of the maiden ranks first time Lasix last time. Hypnocurrency out of the maiden ranks first time Lasix last time.
The other Mike Maker who stays in the race, Bella Michelle.
First time Lasix today, going to stretch out for the first time. Ran in that Fancy Azteca race with no rally. I think this horse is going to run better today.
Surprised Amanda's Folly staying at this number with this 6 out.
Yeah, I think this horse benefited from a good rail last time when able to get to the lead. I don't know where that fig came from last time. She'll do it again to beat me.
8-5 favorite again outside Pebble Lane, David Duggan.
I don't like what Maggie said about not thinking she's going to go long. She's by Upstart out of a Cherokee run mare. Maybe the one-turn mile, stretching it. She won her maiden going 7, but it was a slow fig and a slow time.
3 minutes to post here in the 8th. Let's go to Jonathan.
Yeah, look, I respect the heck out of Maggie's opinion. It's one of the few opinions that can come into my ear that will sway my decisions. I thought the 8 Pebble Lane was very interesting. I thought the 8 Pebble Lane was extremely interesting when the 6 Frigid Lady was a 4-5 morning line was in the race. The price obviously was going to come down on the 8 because people will blindly bet a 4-5 morning line. You probably get a little value on the 8. That value's kind of disappeared. My biggest issue is that the alternative I have is a horse that Anthony was talking about a little while ago, the 5 Bella Michelle. So the same questions that I have about the 8 in terms of getting the mile is the same question I'd have to ask myself about the 5. Sure, the 5 makes a ton of sense in here, but considering where they've drawn, what I know the 8 can do, the rider of the 8, despite the price, I have to side with the 8 in here. That was my first thought, best thought, Maggie, when I looked at this race for the first time.
I don't have that much of a problem. She's just, with regards to Pebble Lane, she's just the one that, of the 4 stretch-out horses in here, maybe the one that physically looks least inclined to relish a route distance, but I can't really knock her that much. The only thing to knock her is the price, because without the prohibitive morning line favorite in here, Frigid Lady, these horses, for the most part, look a lot alike on form. So it's just, I can see Pebble Lane winning. It's just, I wanted a better price. I was talking to Linda Rice about number 1, Maggie T, and she asked me who I thought the speed was, and I said, I think it's your horse, at least based on speed figures. So I'm hoping that they are aggressive with Maggie T, and we've seen in at least the last 2 races on our program here, speed being very good. But let's talk a little bit about Shazi. She's a bit of a price. I do like longer for her. I can't recommend her at all from the overall perspective. And she's one that maybe when the tarps are slowly coming off here, they've been working on them here at the Big A, I think a surface switch might be in Shazi's future. And for that, I'm hoping she runs bad here so we can get a better price when she switches to the turf, Greg.
9-1 for David Donk. 2 sprints, now gets a mile, gets that foundation. Little interesting, we'll see, but maybe turf will be better in her future. 8-5 favorite is Pebble Lane. See what happens here. It should be the one that everybody's chasing early.
I would imagine Pebble Lane's in front, but I could see Maggie T. I don't think Mags is that far off in here. Jose Lascano maybe wanting to try and get her away from the rail draw out of the chute. She's been forward in a series of sprint races, so I wouldn't be shocked. All the money really coming in on Bella Michelle, though. 2-1 right now. Clear second choice. I think the public has the board right.
Race 8. 3-year-old fillies, 1-turn mile coming up. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
3 out. Bella Michelle moves forward. Amanda's Folly will be next. Last to load is going to be Pebble Lane to the outside. Pebble Lane goes in. All in line. All set. And they're off. Hypnocurrency breaks well from in between horses. There's Bella Michelle, and up on the outside, that's Amanda's Folly, and at the rail is Maggie T. And now Maggie T will press on as a neck in front, but has some company to the outside from Amanda's Folly, who's going to stalk from second. Now challenges for the lead as they come out of the chute. Center of the racetrack, that's Manny Franco on. Pebble Lane is in third, losing some ground there. Comes Bella Michelle, who's joined by Hypnocurrency, then Chassis and one way at the back there. Joey the Fish is being distanced by this field, is well back there. Double digits the trailer. On the front end, to the inside, it's Maggie T, who's a neck in front. Then comes Amanda's Folly, who's right there from second, 23.49 for that opening quarter mile. Progressing is Hypnocurrency, is at the rail, is moving forward, is in fourth, and 3 wide there in that third spot. That's Pebble Lane. They've got less than a half mile to go. Under drive is Bella Michelle, is not making up the ground with Chassis, who's trying to rally. Joey the Fish with still a lot of ground to make up. They're well into the turn now. 47-2 for that half-mile time, and Maggie T is in front. Amanda's Folly with every chance there from second. Pebble Lane is called upon from third. Hypnocurrency is starting to rally on here. Is it going to challenge for the third spot as they reach a quarter mile left to go? It is Maggie T and Jose Lezcano. They kick for home. Amanda's Folly continues to chase out in the center of the racetrack. Hypnocurrency just ducked out there, is now rolling late, but is wandering all over the stretch. It's Maggie T with less than an eighth to go. Hypnocurrency, Amanda's Folly, they keep chasing. Maggie T got to the front, and no doubt about your winner. Maggie T, Jose Lezcano for Linda Rice. They get another one. Amanda's Folly, their second. Hypnocurrency and Chassis in 1 minute, 38.68 seconds.
Maggie T got to the front, gate to wire win, 1-7 and a wandering 4. Hypnocurrency for third.
Boy, not only does she give you good information about the 6-5 favorite at the time, she gives you the winner and the speed. Good job, Mags. I can't find this horse. This horse is the third choice at 7-2. I cannot find this horse in a million years. But she does it. This is why Maggie's, I can say this with the utmost confidence, Maggie is the best in the business of what she does. Period. End of sentence.
7-2 on your winner. Nice call here, no question. 1-7-4-2, and another upset. You beat a 3-2 favorite.
3-2 favorite.
That was ridiculous. The price
choice
that the 8 went off at.
But this is what, Greg. This is what happens in a race where there's a 4-5 morning line favorite. The public is going to go somewhere else, and it almost looked like when Frigid Lady came out of this race, Frigid Lady looked like so much the horse to beat that it almost looked like when she came out, Pebble Lane was going to have an easier time with this field than Frigid Lady would have had with Pebble Lane. It was not the case, my friend.
Linda Rice, Jose Lezcano just claimed and into the winner's circle for the second time in 7 starts here for this Daughter of Destin. Again, 7-2, Maggie T, gate to wire win. Nightcap still to come. We'll be back with more America's Day at the Races on FS2 right after this.
Introducing a stallion as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus buyer speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
It's Rock Your World in command. Medina Spirit making no progress. And it's going to be Rock Your World to take them all the way in the Santa Anita Derby. He's undefeated and wins by 4.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back on America's Day of the Races on our Sunday FS2 coverage. It's brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Back in the 7th at Oaklawn, Devils tower back-to-back wins for trainer Chris Hartman. Francisco Arrieta aboard for both. This 5-year-old now 6 for 10 at Oaklawn.
Took advantage of a nice little pace duel up front here between the 3 and 6. Jackman, who was stubborn on the front end. Dark Timber came calling first, and then Francisco Arrieta, boy, 60% at Oaklawn now. 6 for 10. This win, 50, just shy of 200,000 in earnings.
Almost better secret oath at Oaklawn.
They're not quite Whitmore yet, either of them. Give them time. 6 for 10, how about that? Nice little one, 10 even. I couldn't get any jingle.
Featured next, no jangle at Oaklawn. We'll get to that in a moment. Still an inquiry. It's involving your third place finisher. Talked about Hypnocurrency weaving in and out in the stretch.
Yeah, took that weird move.
Bounced into the 8 a little bit. We'll see if the third place finisher winds up coming down. But your winner, Maggie T. Maggie, nice call.
Thank you, Greg. And I want to play poker with Linda Rice here because she actually has a tell. I think I could beat her. Whenever you chit-chat with me before a race, I know you usually like your horse, and I think you were feeling pretty confident about Maggie T off the claim and stretching out.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to feel too confident the day we claimed her. She ran pretty poorly that day, but she's trained well since, and I like the filly, and I really thought she was bred to run long, both pedigree and conformation to go long, but you never know until you try it, so.
Were you pleased to see Jose Lezcano, obviously one of your go-to riders, that he was able to get to the lead from the rail?
Yeah, the one post, I was a little concerned because she's been a little slow out of the gates, but going a mile, she was able to do it. And frankly, Jose did a beautiful job.
Going to take the late double. We have one of the favorites, Leochi, coming up in the last.
Well, we're going to try.
I love it, Linda, and I'll let everybody know if Linda chit-chats with me before the race. Congratulations here, though.
Thanks, Maggie.
Linda getting her second win on the card, Greg.
And she'll have, as Maggie mentioned, Lauchi in the nightcap, who's a major player, dropping back down in class to close things out. $9.80 here on Maggie T. No change, by the way. That 4-horse, even with all that weaving, bouncing into the 8, stays up for third.
Yeah, he just took a couple of weird steps in the stretch and a little demonstratively trying to get outside.
I don't think they ever made contact, but he had to check.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy.
You see 980 there, Greg, from Maggie T, but she plays a lot higher in the pick 5. She was 10-1 on the morning line. Now, that was affected by the scratch of the 4-5 morning line favorite, but she still plays higher than most. I have to imagine these things are through the roof. We have
3, 4, 6, 7, and 10 through 12 result in a carryover in the pick 6.
So horses are covered in the pick 6 in here.
Yeah.
Wow. That's remarkable. And they're the horses I probably like because I'm a chalk eating weasel in the last race today. In one of the in a $40,000 maiden race, I'm a chalk eating weasel. So okay.
New York bred, 40 maiden claiming sprint to close it out. Meanwhile, back at Oaklawn, their feature race coming up next. We talked about at top of the show. Ice Orchid, mile and a 16th coming up. Is going to have the rail coming out of the grade 3 Bayacoa. There she is, Ricardo Santana Jr., trained by John Ortiz, owned by Short Leaf Stable. Looks like it's between her and Shotgun Hottie in the feature on the Sunday card.
Every hair, every muscle, every contour, every pulse. In the juvenile,
Essential Quality have won.
in the Belmont,
Essential Quality has won the Belmont Stakes.
well named.
The industry has a few things that we have to take care of better, and one was the aftercare of the horses.
If we did nothing, these horses would end up in very bad places.
Go back to where we were years and years and decades ago when it was just considered de rigueur that you could just send these horses to slaughter.
It's different than any other program that was put into place.
I remember that meeting at Belmont Park. It was a dream.
It is a first line of defense for those who are concerned about what happens to the equine athlete after he's done racing.
Without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses.
We started with some 21 organizations across the country, and now we're up to over 82 facilities throughout the country and giving away almost just under $25 million.
It's the one shining accomplishment that we have that we can point to say we really do love our horses.
Just the word aftercare has become part of the discussion, has been part of the vernacular in a way that it was not when I started this position around the start of 2013.
It's a daunting task that the TAA and its accredited organizations have taken on. And that's why the industry itself has got to fund it.
Every time I turn around across the country, the TAA staff is there, and they're shaking hands and they're kissing babies, and they're doing the blocking and tackling right that needs to be done.
We have a social responsibility to make sure that thoroughbred aftercare is also #1 on the list.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday card from South Ozone Park and out in Hot Springs as well. And we got the nightcap coming up here in New York Reds in this $40,000 maiden claiming race. Everybody trying for that first win in their career. 6 furlong sprint, and we'll see if Linda Rice and Jose Lizcano can go back to back. They got Lauchi, the 5 here, coming up, who's the 9-5 favorite right now.
That's a 9-5. 0 for 11. Proven Hope was even money earlier. These horses are going to all get out of the maiden ranks one day. Almost exclusively will do it without, I'm going to go to the third person here because it's important, Greg, without the big A's money. Just doesn't, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities for this horse. Is dropping back down in the last 2 starts back when she was in against this level. Had the lead in the stretch, missed by a head off a short layoff. Definitely the form is there, but there's some others with upside in here.
And not only are there others with upside, but there are a handful of first-time starters in here who have all been training a little quickly over at the Belmont Park training track. And as spring starts to spring.
Spring starts to spring?
Oh, well, you can't say spring starts to sprung.
Okay.
And it hasn't completely sprung yet. We're going to get some rain and snow tomorrow. It's been chilly-ish. You know, I'm still wearing my hoodie out to the barn in the morning. My Mets hoodie. Let's go Mets. Getting ready. Baseball's almost here.
Yeah. Paul LaDuca, for those who didn't see, singing, musing about his days missing baseball on TikTok.
When he gets back up here, we need to get to a batting cage. I need to get him to a batting cage.
Do you see him take that rip at the driving range?
Klatt. Yeah,
Mainline Sports Bar?
We'll take him over to. We'll take him into Valley, into Five Towns. We can go hit some golf balls and so go hit some baseballs.
I'm surprised. You know, Lauchi's the favorite. I'm surprised we're seeing 7-1 on Queens over 3's a 1. This horse dropping down. Last time in at this level, missed by a neck. It was well clear of the third place finisher. And there she is.
Yeah, she ran one time for the 40, got beat the neck, like you said. But you have the firsts. So the 2 Don't Quick Jackie, 47-2. You have the 11, Super Princess, 47-2 from the gate. Bullet of 126.
Yeah.
On March 5th, last Sunday. So
11's very interesting.
Yeah, Super Princess.
For Paul Barrow. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
We'll check in with the one who's had her chances as she tries to break her maiden in her 12th start, but second time out for Linda Rice with number 5, Lealchi, who is dropping back down to the 40. And she's only participated in that event once, and she was just narrowly beaten by a first-time starter who yesterday did not return to run well, but in a tough spot. I have to say, she's put on weight, she's put on conditioning, she's kind of blossomed in her coat and that she's dappled from head to toe. And, you know, it's just a testament to Linda and her feeding program. I mean, they're definitely not shy with the feed scoop, to say the least, because all of her horses do tend to carry really good weight. And I'm a big believer in you feed them as much as they can handle, and you usually get the results on the racetrack, too. So I actually, for one in my life, like what I'm seeing from Lealchi today, but I get it. You're taking a horse that has been proven to be a loser. So let's check in with these first-time starters. We got a 5-year-old making her debut. Number 2, Don't Quit Jackie. Now, this is when I wish at times I still did it the old-fashioned way and keeping my notes in a notebook. Several years ago, I went over to Formulator to stash my notes, and since there was a count changeover, I've lost a lot of them going way back. There's something in me that feels like this horse was supposed to run at Aqueduct last year, and she may have been a late scratch, or she was entered in a scratch, because you look, there's a gap. February 17th, last year, she was working very quickly, and then she picked up that work tab again in early January. Anyway, we're looking at a massive mare. She's older than a lot of these horses in here, despite making only her first start. I wish she looked fitter. I mean, she looks like there's some ability there, but obviously there's been issues that have kept her away from the racetrack. And I just can't wholeheartedly suggest her based upon what I see from her from a fitness perspective, as we'll check in with one that does look very fit in her debut, and number 11, Super Princess. Lovely pedigree, honestly. The Dam, she won first out. She was good sprinting on the dirt. She's a half to Ruler of the Nile, who ran some good races on all 3 surfaces throughout his long career. High Promise. The Dam has produced 5 horses to run, and all 5 have been winners. Now, she is showing up wearing front wraps the first time, but she is sharp here in the paddock. And she's very fit from the leanness perspective. I mean, there's not an ounce of extra flesh to her, but I just wish she looked a little stronger. But Greg, as those workouts would suggest, I think we're going to see some speed from this gal.
Yeah, I would think so. Right now, 10-1. Maggie mentioned the Dam won first time out. I believe the Grand Dam won first time out as well. There's early pedigree to be successful all over the place. Let's go back to Oaklawn. Feature race coming up. Ice Orchid. 2-5 on the board right now, dropping out of the Grade 3 Bayakoa, and there she is.
Yeah, deserved favorite. I don't know if anybody should be prohibited, if she should be prohibitive in here. Shotgun Hottie has run similar figs. This will be her first start as a 4-year-old. You would imagine that if she makes the step forward from 3 to 4, she's faster. She's run the same figs at 3 that Ice Orchid is running into her 4-year-old year. That gives the edge to Shotgun Hottie. She has to make that move forward, though.
Shotgun Hottie just went by. It's going to be her 4-year-old debut coming up. Here's Bow Bow Girl, Chris Richard, Isaac Castillo.
She's going to have to play a little catch-up to the top 2 in here, I think. She has that one big fig in the mud off of an August to November layoff where she got the job done at Delta Downs around the 3 turns.
Queen's up. Stretched out last start with second B2 lengths.
I liked her last time. I didn't love the trip she got last time out. Determined for second, I think, is a nice way. Arietta gave her a little bit of an indecisive ride last time. I wouldn't be surprised if she's more forward in here.
And we saw the 6 go by. How aggressive is Tyler Bay is going to be on Coastal Charm. Ice Orchid, Paulie, 2-5 coming out of that Grade 3 Bayakoa.
Yeah, and, she looks the part. I mean, she really does. And, Johnny Ortiz's horses are starting to fire. He had an early, not early, but like in the beginning of the meet, he was having a lot of tough luck. A lot of his runners were running second and third. And of late, he had a horse that ran yesterday, Barber Road, ran a great rate yesterday, just got ripped at the wire, Raylu Gutierrez. And this horse reportedly, I've heard from multiple people, his last workout after his last race was phenomenal. He did it in hand. He outworked 87 other horses. And I think that's why he's getting bet. Because when you look through her, her running lines, you're seeing, like we said earlier in the show, Secret Oath, Lovely Ride, Omore, who just won a Grade 1. So is 2-5 a little too low? I think it is. But she's definitely the one to beat. Shotgun Hottie, the 3, the gun runner filly, she hasn't been seen since August, so maybe that's why the one's got an advantage on her. But Cherie DeVoe is very, very good. Although I will say, like I've said before, she takes her time with her horses. But this is a made filly who's run second in the Delaware Oaks, second in the Monmouth Oaks. She does like to check in second a little bit more. And her one of her wins was like by a nose in the Ruthless. But she's the other. Gots to be the other player in here, I guess. I mean, the 6 Coastal Charm, Queen's up to 5. I thought ran well, considering, first time going long, first time, around 2 turns, and actually stayed on with Traverse. But this horse is going to have to, I would think, improve even more. The only way I see the one losing in this race, to be honest with you, Greg, is if the 6 somehow gets to the front end and they just crawl around the racetrack. And I just don't know if Ricardo Santana will let that happen. Hate to give you a 2-5 shot, but maybe let's try to beat Shotgun Hottie for second. Let's go 1-5 on the exacta.
All right, try and maybe create a little bit of value with Queens up underneath. But yeah, Ice Orchid, you talk about the 1 and the 3, and Ice Orchid, it's just Chaluki, Pippin, second, beat less than a length. The Lovely Rider's been so good at this meet. Grade 3 by Aqueduct, doing it against top, older, not the top of the top, but very tough distaff competition. Where's Shotgun Hottie? She's going to try and do it now against 4-year-olds for the first time.
And Ice Orchid's supposed to have the run of the race. If I'm Ricardo Santana Jr. from the rail with a murky pace scenario, I just go. Just go to the lead. I made a cold 1.5, so there's a lot of weight on that number, Paulie. A lot of weight on that number, buddy.
What'd you like with Queens Up?
I thought her first start around 2 turns was good last time. And I think she was given a little bit of an indecisive ride by Arietta last time. I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive in here. Like I said, not really a clear-cut speed. I'd leave out of there. All of her other races came in sprints, Greg. And they went a pretty contested opening quarter last time. Break running. See what Santana does. I would just sidle up alongside him and run around there 1.5.
Ice Orchid from the rail, odds-on favorite. Shotgun Hottie, the 3, making her 4-year-old debut for the new barn, Cherie DeVoe. It's the feature on the Sunday card. Here's Jim Byers.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Good start inside for Ice Orchid. From between horses, Queens Up. Coastal Charm on the outside. Lizetta's 4th. Shotgun Hottie alongside her. And to the outside, Bobo Girl trailing the field in 6th as they round the clubhouse turn. It will be Queens Up. Queens Up has established the lead here by a length. And Coastal Charm to the outside 2nd. And Ice Orchid is going to settle for Santana 3rd on the inside. And Shotgun Hottie is just outside of her. She's racing in 4th. Back to the inside is Lisette, and trailing the field, Bobo Girl as they advance past the 5-furlong pole and move up the backstretch. It's Francisco Arietta and Queens Up. They're carving out the pace here to Coastal Charm. Ice Orchid content to sit inside and racing in 3rd, followed to the outside by Shotgun Hottie. She'll be caught a little wide into that far turn. Then Lizette and a break of 3 to Bobo Girl, still trailing the field. Around the turn they go. It's still Queens Up with the advantage here, maintaining a 1-length lead to Coastal Charm. No change up front, although Ice Orchid has dropped right back. Ice Orchid is next to last. Shotgun Hottie is now up on the outside, racing into 3rd while 3 wide on the outside of Coastal Charm and the pacemaker Queens Up. They straighten away in the upper stretch. And toward the inside, it's Queens Up. And up on the extreme outside, Shotgun Hottie. From between them is Coastal Charm. As they come to the final 16th, Shotgun Hottie. This well-traveled filly is going to get there and draw clear. Tight for 2nd, Lizette. And Queens Up, finishing 4th, was Coastal Charm.
Shotgun Hottie, 4-year-old debut for the new barn here. Impressive performance for her 3rd win.
Yeah, nice effort today. Good job by Arietta being aggressive with Queens Up. It didn't work, but he took a shot. Ice Orchid, wow. If you overthink this a little bit, she ran well enough in these stakes races all winter long that the fact that he passed up that Azera yesterday to run her in this spot was probably a bad sign.
Pulled up in the race. We'll try and get more on Ice Orchid in a little bit. Unfortunate. 5-2, Shotgun Hottie. Nice start to her 4-year-old campaign. And maybe some bigger things ahead for her. Christian Torres, meet leading rider, adds another one as we go back to New York. Let's go to JK. Where are you going to wind up here, Jonathan?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to end up on the 2, Don't Quit Jackie. This is just a situation where the horse is taking a little bit of money. I don't trust a lot of these other horses in here. I was very interested on the 1 down on the inside, Queens over 3s, but man, this horse has had a couple of trips down on the inside and hasn't seemed to handle it well. And I don't try to get carried away with that too often, but I do think if you see a pattern with horses that don't like to be down on the inside, there is an opportunity to look elsewhere. So I thought the 2, Don't Quit Jackie, in a wide open race was one that I wanted to include, but I also thought the 2 outside horses, the 11 and the 12, were at least sneaky and interesting. The pick 6 that I played today that is no longer with us, I did use the 11 and the 12 in that sequence. So if you're looking for a little bit of a bigger price, maybe one of those 2 can work for you.
JK, let me guess that Downtown Connector blew you up. Sorry. Gotta root for a house horse, though. But let's talk a little bit about a horse that I'm going to pick here. Now, I do think the track has changed as we started off the day good, but always when you have a wet track and then the next day it's drying, and when it gets to the fast label, that's when you see inside biases. And I do think we're seeing a little bit of that here with some enhanced performances with horses on the front end. And I don't know necessarily if my pick's going to get there to the front end, but I think Basiloquin's quite interesting. He kind of broke okay last time, but he was very slow into stride, and he was running greenly early, and he was very wide throughout that day. I should say she, sorry. But she made up some ground, and I just thought that combined with my observations of her in the paddock and that she was green acting then and just seemed clueless and needed one from a fitness perspective, that she'll improve from that effort. So gonna take a little bit of a shot here, hoping that she can put herself into contention a little bit more. And like I said, it's kind of that type of race. Who can you really trust that much? You're gonna take 2-1 on Leochi in her 12th career start, Greg?
She's certainly one of the ones, but if you're playing straight up to make a win wager, probably not, because there's other ways to go in here, I would think. I think the 1 at 7-1 is a good play. Obviously intrigued by that 11. I tried to make a case for the 10. I looked at that race. I just didn't seem like she was, and she could definitely, maybe that was only the debut, and a lot of times the debut is a throw out. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if she moves forward here. I just didn't see a lot of running going on, even late in the race. But maybe she'll turn it around here, start number 2.
Yeah, I'll tell you a horse that's a little... How about the money to 6 Princess Sonia's taking? Charlie Baker's serving at suspension right now, so the horses are running in Joe Parker's name. This is not a trainer change. Horses are running in Joe Parker's name. But this horse is 7-2 second choice. Why?
Speed shortening up.
Good luck.
Dylan Davis, after taking the first 3 on the card, looking for number 4 to close things out.
I think Maggie's right. I like the 1 Queens over 3s inside speed.
Set for the nightcap. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
Lauchi, 3 out. Super Princess. Princess Sonia and Georgie's Ladies. Georgie's Ladies. Goes in. All in line. All set. And they're off. Fast start for Finney's Harbor, right out to the front, is joined by Red Jasmine up on the outside. They're going to be 1-2. Lauchi and the Red Silks is in behind them. Tight pack there in behind those leaders is now at the rail. There was Queens over 3s who's losing ground. In that mid-pack comes Red Jasmine, who's now starting to move forward here from that second spot. Very wide is going to be Forever Amy. Also in that mix is Princess Sonia, tightly bunched. Losing some ground with Spooky Lady. Up on the far outside is going to be Georgie's Ladies. It's going to be 4 wide as they move into that turn. Then Basiloquin. Basiloquin's followed by Super Princess. Towards the back end of the field is Don't Quit Jackie. Glaucomora is the trailer. Finney's Harbor is a neck in front. It's Finney's Harbor. Right to the outside is Red Jasmine. Forever Amy Sonia is making a launch 3 wide. Also, Lauchi is at the rail, saving ground to the inside. They went 22-1 for that opening quarter mile. 3 across the racetrack here with a quarter mile left to go. Lauchi is trying to squeeze through at the rail. It's Phineas Harbor who kicks for home. Red Jasmine in pursuit. Now Lauchi is going to split rivals here in the final 8th. It's Lauchi who's got the momentum to the outside of Phineas Harbor. On the outside is Princess Sonia, who's rolling late here with Red Jasmine. Also trying to run on here. It's Lauchi who's in front, who's still 2 in front. It's a late run here from Super Princess, but it's going to be Lauchi to get the finale. Lauchi will get the score tight here for second. Queens over 3s out of nowhere over Spooky Lady. And then Phineas Harbor in 1 minute 13 flat.
5:18. Lauchi, Jose Lezcano had to wait for some room to get through, and when he got it, burst through for the win. Start number 12.
Lauchi gets it done in start number 12. Queens over 3 is a little tough to handle for Manny Franco as well. When she found some clear sailing, she was able to come and outrun the other Rudy Rodriguez runner, Spooky Lady. So Rudy runs 2-3 here, 5-1-8-4. First time starter Finney Harbor showed a ton of speed under Kendra Carmouche at 57-1 and was able to hold on and round out the superfecta in the nightcap.
Well, at this point, the race was over. But Jose Lezcano, he had to be patient, had to wait in here. Finally got that room, and then Lauchi able to get it done. 12th time out. Linda Rice second off the claim. Rice, Lezcano take the last 2 on the card.
Yep, sweep of the late double. I wonder if she chatted with Maggie. She never let us know. Interesting. Be a nice little superfecta to round out the week, Greg. I didn't have it. Saratoga area code 518.
Ah, nice call.
Thanks.
Pick 6. Hit. We'll have the numbers when we come back.
Right.
2-1 favorite. Taking this nightcap here at Aqueduct. We still have the nightcap coming up at Oaklawn for you as well. And special weekend coming up next Saturday at Oaklawn. Greats like D. Wayne Lucas, Bill Mott, just a couple of several Hall of Famers that will be on hand for the first ever Hall of Fame Day.
Here comes Malatha. Here comes Clariere on the outside, and it's going to be Clariere. Nest, much the best. She won by better than 10 lengths. And Elite Power gets up to win the sprint outside. It's Malatha coming to the wire. Who's it going to be? Here's the wire. Oh, the wish has come true. That one's for you, Cody.
These are the trainers and teachers, the cooks, carpenters, and clockers, grooms and gardeners. These are the hardworking people who show up every day to keep horse racing running across the state. Good-paying jobs that support New York families, along with the thousands of local businesses that depend on Belmont Park. Modernizing Belmont Park would generate $1 billion in economic activity and protect and create thousands of jobs. Albany, create New York jobs. Modernize Belmont Park.
Unified, a 3-time graded stakes winner by leading sire Candy Ride, defeating multiple Grade 1 winner Mind Your Biscuits in the Gulfstream Park Sprint, and second in the Grade 1 Carter by a nose. With multiple stakes winners in his first crop, including Roger McQueen and Unified Report. Unified, a proven winner on the track, a proven stallion in the making.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
We have returned on America's Day at the Races. Our program brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. Race and card in the books in this 9th here at Aqueduct. Lauchi, Linda Rice, Jose Lezcano, they go back-to-back to close things out and take the late double.
Yeah, nice effort here from Lauchi, who gets out of the maiden ranks in his 10th try. Jose Lezcano and Linda cleaning up the late double. one winner of the pick six, $35,000. Congratulations if you are a Tom Morley fan. Let's be honest, you're probably a Maggie Wolfendale fan.
40-1 shot resulted in all the numbers that you see anywhere in these multi-race sequences. With Downtown Connector, there it is, 3,552 for the pick five, and as Anthony said, 35,000 plus in the pick six. So one number. Maggie T, not easy to come up with either, but certainly that 8250 on Downtown Connector.
You're at a loss for words, Greg. You and I are very rarely at a loss for words, buddy. But we are at a loss for words here, 8250.
No, I was...
Third longest shot on the board.
I was going to say with the five coming out, some people may have gone all in that race. And
yeah, fair enough. Still, I mean, it's still got to find Maggie T.
Yep. No question. Well done if you got it. Back at Oaklawn, Shotgun Hottie, 4-year-old filly. Impressive in her return to the races for the new barn, and the meet's leading rider adds another one. Let's go to Paul.
With winning jockey here, Christian Torres, and it seems like this is a theme every day, Christian. Shotgun Hottie here gets the job done, Cherie DeVoe. By the way, you just told me you used to hot walk for Chad Brown when Cherie was one of his assistants.
Yeah, I used to walk. When I started at a racetrack, it was with Chad Brown, and Cherie was still his assistant, and that's how everything started as a hot walker.
So now this filly, take us to through your trip. I mean, she had a really good trip, no?
Yeah, I had a beautiful trip. I watch her replays, and she's a type of filly that she runs anywhere. It depends on the pace, and I was hoping for a good break and be close. There was not much speed in the race, and she broke beautiful, and I was just sitting off 3 wide, and I had a beautiful trip. When I asked her, she responded, and we got the win.
The racetrack playing pretty fair, Christian?
Yeah, right now it dries out, and it's very fair now.
Well, another W for Christian Torres, and how about that? It goes all the way back to Chad Brown and Cherie DeVoe when they were together, when he was hot walking. Now he's one of the best riders in the country.
Been riding for a few years. It's been an incredible run for this young man in just a short amount of time. He's atop that jockey colony at Oaklawn Park. Prices for Lauchi again. We meant to get you the Oaklawn prices, but we'll recap. Never hurts. There we go. Shotgun Hottie, $740 for the win.
Yeah, I thought Lizette got up for second. I guess I was wrong. Queen's up. That was a good ride by Francisco Arrieta, getting aggressive and getting the place money there and winning that photo.
Meanwhile, the odds-on favorite in this feature, Ice Orchid, pulled up in the race. Let's go back to Paul for more.
Yeah, Greg, I was able to get an update when Ricardo Santana got off the horse. Ice Orchid walked across the line and kind of stopped over here past the finish line. And I was asking Johnny Ortiz, is everything okay? And when she came back, you could tell she had a black eye. I mean, and Ricardo looked right at Johnny and said, listen, a big dirt clod hit her right in the eye, and she just dead stopped. So it just shows you that the jockeys and the horses are also, she runs without blinkers, but that might not have, helped or not. It was just an unlucky situation. She might not have won the race, but Ricardo said as soon as she got hit with that, she just stopped. And yeah, if I got punched in the eye trying to run against some horses, I would stop too. Just thank God it's nothing physical. I was asking Johnny, and he said, no, she was walking fine and everything's okay. So Ricardo just took some precautions.
Very good news, Paulie. Good work. Well done on that update. So hope to see her back and get to see a true test of what she can do.
Paulie knows what that's like. You get that foul ball into the catcher's helmet. That's no fun. I'm not comparing myself to Paul by any means, but that's what I did when I was a kid. I was a big kid. I caught. Those aren't fun. Those hurt. So those horses are going 35.
How he did it.
Those horses are going 35, 40 miles an hour. Those clods come back at you, jockey or horse. They're going a little faster because that's the force of the horse. That's the horsepower kicking those clods back at you.
Unfortunate incident there, so good to hear that that's all it was.
That's all it is, correct.
Still have the nightcap coming up. Oaklawn's going to close out their card maiden claiming race. 6 furlongs. We mentioned going to break coming up next Saturday. It could be a very special day. Actually, it was last year the first time they did this Hall of Fame Day in Hot Springs. D. Wayne, one of many Hall of Famers, will be on hand along with Gary Stevens, Carl Navsger, Alex Solis, Steve Cawthon, tremendous list.
Trying to do the math for the amount of wins that are going to be at Oaklawn Park. Well, you got to, that's about 100,000, if not more, on that list.
This was last year's event, autograph signing.
There's
and just
Bill.
getting all those big names, too, in one place, one day, makes it a very special afternoon. I believe the Count Fleet going to be the feature next weekend.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which we could see Whitmore back.
That's not the race he leads them out to, right? He leads them out for his race, for the Whitmore, which is later in the meet. Okay. They do a great job down there. Look at that. It's a nice poster. They get as many of the Hall of Famers on the poster there.
We're going to have Paulie try and get one signed by everybody for us.
That'd
Put
be
it up in
great.
the office.
There's Bill Mott. There's my man. Got a great picture. Going through some pictures the last few days. My high school mentor passed away, Dave Blanchard, who was like one of my heroes in life. Going through some old pictures. Found a picture of Bill, his wife Tina, and me at my college graduation in May of 1998, 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Got a great picture of Bill and Bill and his wife. So long time ago.
It's got to go on the wall.
Yeah, you know, getting some frames. Birthday's coming up at the end of the month, so we'll get some frames, put some stuff up in the office and at home.
We're going to take a time out. When we come back, story of Ron Moquette. Nobody has a better view in Hot Springs than that man right there. He's had a lot of success as well. Speaking of Whitmore.
Yeah.
Certainly his home track where he has had so much success. We'll have his story when we return on America's Day at the Races.
Eclipse champion Blaine, a proven sire with over 15% lifetime stakes horses. His recent top runners include graded stakes winner and Kentucky Derby hopeful Litigate.
Litigate going to go on to win it here.
As well as Kentucky Oaks hopeful Wet Paint. Also an emerging broodmare sire, his stakes producing daughters include the dam of Eclipse champion and Kentucky Derby favorite Forte.
Forte to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
My version of the clubhouse when you go to the racetrack. I always think that my version of the clubhouse when you go to the racetrack. I always think that the universe takes care of me, but I couldn't imagine doing my job in the winter months without this location.
Ron Moquett built his hideaway along the Oaklawn backstretch in 2015. 3 years later, he was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, an autoimmune disease that makes him especially susceptible to large crowds. He had no idea just how beneficial having Oaklawn as his next-door neighbor would end up being.
This rider is something that he'll forget before he gets to the gates. And different riders are different. You know, Joe Talamo, he kind of warms up and hangs out until he gets there. If you miss Santana, you just miss him. He's a very hyper-focused guy. Takes a little to get used to because I like to watch the horses walk off whenever I leg them up and stuff. And you don't get to do that, but you get to watch them back here warm up. So it's you gain some stuff whenever you lose something else. There's the horse. It's just a sloppy track. I was going to try to tell him to get involved and go on.
They're off. Reeves is the leader past the half-mile pole. A 2-length advantage over his eyes to take second. Carpenter third in the rail.
They're from the inside now trying to get her. All of our dreams, Stargarita. Final surge. All of our dreams in Stargarita.
Third.
Wow, this is an inch.
Third. I think if we get to the outside, she's probably a lot happier. So this gives me a little good feeling that she might win here at the meet if we get a good trip. So off of a year layoff, that's pretty good. Well, I wouldn't be in Hot Springs, Arkansas if it wasn't for Oaklawn. You know, I wouldn't ever go to Louisville if it wasn't for Churchill. I go where the horses go. And Oaklawn is so endeared to me because Hot Springs and the surrounding area all share my enthusiasm for the horses and the races. We have the craziest, coolest fans there are.
Always root for Ron Moquett. He makes it really easy to do. And obviously, he's had some very good ones. It's Whitmore who comes to mind for most. Renamed a barn for that horse who was so dominant in that sprint division over the years. And having another great meet. He's in the top 5.
Yeah, had a real hot start to the meet, cooled off a little bit. That's what happens, though, with these meets. You know, when you point to the meet like Ron does, you fire your best shots early on, and then you kind of tail off a little bit. But I would imagine he'll re-rally here at the end of the meet because these horses cycle through. They cycle back through at the end of the meet, a 6-month meet, and I would imagine he'll have a good finish.
Oh, we got to get Paulie maybe to do one of his hits from Ron's backyard soon.
Oh, I love that. Hey, listen, if Ron decided to run for office in Hot Springs or anywhere around here, I think he would win. That's how popular he is. He's just such a great guy, and he's kind of my go-to guy. We had an interview yesterday with Mr. Sella, who's been so gracious to me as well. But Ron Moquett has been unbelievable. Now, I got to know Ron through somebody else, but he's guided me through where to go eat and where to stay. We've gone out to dinner a couple times. He's literally the salt of the earth. I ended up talking to him actually today, and I was like, Ron, what's going on? He goes, I'm losing all my horses. I've 12 horses of mine have already been claimed. I need to buy some more so I can get some more action. He also likes to play the horses too. His son Chance leads out a lot of his horses as well, who's very knowledgeable. So it's a family atmosphere with Ron, and I mean, it can't get any better than Ron Moquett, in my opinion. He's the salt of the earth.
2 years ago, through a 50th birthday party for my best friend's Phil, Whitmore's his favorite horse, I asked Ron if he had a picture or a horseshoe of Whitmore. He came back the next morning, 2 days before Phil's birthday, with the halter he wore in the Kentucky Derby as Phil's 50th birthday present.
Tells you all you need to know about. And yeah, he was in the Kentucky Derby at one point. They were on
Phil
that
has his
Triple Crown
halter from
Trail
the Derby.
before he became the incredible sprinter he is. He's got a horse potentially to beat in this race coming up too. I'll send out the 2, but also Cup from the outside, the 12. Very interesting, Ron Moquett. Stay with us.
War Dancer. The momentum continues with recent stakes winners on turf and dirt. Dancing Buck going wire to wire in the Grade 3 Belmont Turf.
Dancing Buck has opened up on the field. It is Dancing Buck by a half dozen lengths.
And 2-year-old filly War Saichi with a wire-to-wire win in the Ladyfinger Stakes.
War Saichi asserted her authority immediately out of the starting gate, and she has not relinquished the lead.
War Dancer, the #1 third crop turf sire in North America. Proud to stand in New York.
Bet the racing action at Aqueduct, Oaklawn, and Santa Anita to score a $15 bonus each Sunday in March. Bet $50 on each track to take home $15, win or lose. Opt in at NyraBets.com.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. SNY with us as well. Finale coming up from Hot Springs. 60 maiden claiming sprint. We were just talking about Ron Moquett. They'll send out the 2 and the 12, Paulie, to close out this card. Right now, though, it's a West Coast shipper, Haskell, for Diodoro, the favorite.
Yeah, and I think the horse is the favorite. Listen, Christian Torres is on fire. Robertina Diodoro is the leading trainer. And another horse coming in here for California. This horse was voided claim last time out in the Doug O'Neill barn, but this horse has been given time since then and working steadily here. And I would think would show up with a decent little effort in here. When you get to the Moquett runners in here, there's 2 horses in here that are under the waiver claim. The 11, who was out, scratched. The other horse in here was the 2. And I was asking Chance Moquett just a minute ago, hey, is the 2 in for the waiver? He said, yes, he is. The horse has been working tremendous since they gelded the horse. And I will say, the horse looked unreal. Now, you just don't know what's under the hood. This horse was in the Brad Cox barn and was bet. Just, Brad's horses are going to get bet and hasn't shown much. Now drops for maiden 60. By the way, I don't know if I've ever seen a maiden 60,000. Didn't mean to say that, but just was thinking about it. But I thought the 2 could be very interesting in here. The 3 Cyclone, I think that's the horse that comes from off the pace. Kim Poole and Rocco Bowen have had some big prices come in. That was earlier in the meet. They've kind of slowed down a little bit. You have the couple other horses on the outside. Now, I thought Cup would get played, the 12. This is a horse that has gait issues. Bejarano takes the other Moquett. David Cabrera gets aboard, trying to maybe change a little bit and get this horse out of the gate, because when this horse does break, I would think that he'd be right there at 3-1. And then all the money going to Swaggish, the 10 here. Son of West Coast, Isaac Castillo, a W on the card with a big-time favorite earlier for Steve Asmussen. Going to look for a double. Swaggish is at 5-2. So I thought a competitive race. The 6 Haskell, I get it. It's Diodoro, it's Torres, but how many times are you going to have them in the winner's circle? I guess maybe another time. I'll take my chances with Mr. Cooper Kupp on the outside.
Coop. Rams fans all over this one. 3-1 on the outside. Yeah, this horse in for a tag for the first time. I was thinking the same thing when I saw this race. I've never seen a 60 maiden claiming race.
Interesting figure. I like the other Moquett. I like the 2, Lundberg. Big Fig paid $400,000 for this horse as a yearling. Keeneland, September.
You an Office Space fan?
Of course. Absolutely. Can't really get into the Lundberg stuff, though. 9-2 debut, 2-1 second time. Ron claims this horse, puts the horse away for almost a year. Fresh gelding, training well. Bejarano goes here, draws the inside, 7-1. Boy, I don't want 5-2 on the favorite off a voided claim on the raise. You know, it's not easy to improve off Doug O'Neill and, I mean, the horse ran in Leandro Mora. Well, actually, the horse ran in Doug O'Neill's name. He was off the suspension when he ran. Equipment change, no equipment change. This horse got beat at 3-5 last time on a voided claim. He could win. Obviously, it's Diodoro. Good luck. You could have him at 5-2. And again, and you know what, Greg? If this horse was that live, wouldn't this horse be 6-5? The Asmussen drop down is the slight favorite, and the Moquette drop downs. They're all, you could throw a blanket over them on the tote board. 5-2, 5-2, 3-1. Give me the 7-1 Moquette from the rail off on the waiver. Take my chances with Bejarano.
There's the 10 Swaggish. Should see, I would think, speed for this one. He's been in close to the pace against a lot better Isaac Castillo. It's the nightcap from Oaklawn. Jim Byers the call.
Table. So good luck with the rest of your afternoon selections as they load in the final one. Cup in the gate. Oaklawn's 9th. All in line. And they're off. Slow start for Axton. From the inside, Lundberg. From the outside, Cup. Cup goes to the lead. Then Lundberg, Swaggish, Haskell. Just outside of him is Crossing. 2.5 to Manta Ray. And then it's the Gray Cyclone. And trailing the field a good distance back is Axton. Half mile to the finish. And look at this solitary leader, Cup. David Cabrera and Cup out there in isolated splendor, leading it by some 4 lengths to Lundberg and Haskell. Crossing from between and Swaggish. He's going to be 3 or 4 wide coming for home. Then a 2.5 or so length gap back to Manta Ray. Quite far back still to Cyclone and Axton. Off the turn and into the stretch. And Lundberg is catching up to Cup. Now a bunch of them are. Here on the outside, rallying is Manta Ray. And from between horses, Haskell. Cyclone down the middle of the racetrack. Through the stretch into the finish, it's Manta Ray, Lundberg. Meanwhile, gaining up the inside late is Axton, and up on the outside, Cyclone. As they come to the finish, Manta Ray, Axton on the inside. Very tight to the wire.
Did Manta Ray get beat here? He might have. Axton, first-time starter. Don Von Hemel, Francisco Arrieta up the inside. Let's take another look.
He's dead last. He is dead last at the 3/16 pole. Under Francisco Arrieta.
17-1 if it is him.
Absolutely flying. Manta Ray's in the green cap in the middle of the track. You see the Gray Cyclone making his 17th start, trying to get out of the maiden ranks. The first is absolutely flying. Manta Ray for John Harron. I think Manta Ray held, but this angle is not one I'm so confident with. I don't think the 5 ever got past the 4, but I could be wrong here.
May not have. I mean, this Manta Ray ran a huge figure in his debut. It was against Soft Company, then jumped up. It was so good against straight maidens, and this horse ignored a little bit here at 8-1.
Yeah, he was. Back in for the tag. No, on that angle, it looks like Axton got there. I'm not calling this thing. Not me.
We will wait for the photo to be developed.
As my boys would say in the cigar shop, I can't call it. I'm not doing it.
It's 8-1 or 17-1 if it's that first time or the 5 Axton, who really took a while to get going. And when he did, wow. There he is, the 5 on the fence. 3 was flying late too. Cyclone to the outside for Kim Poole has pulled off some monster long shots this meet.
Wow.
Best eye for this in the business, it's our own Paulie LaDuca usually.
Paulie, have an opinion on this? I don't know. This is really
that
close.
That does not help us.
Really close. They have the camera on Axton.
5's up. Unofficially your winner. It's 17-1 this first-time starter. Yeah, 5-4-3-2.
Right along the iron. Gutsy ride.
Tough beat if you like Manta Ray today. Wow.
Brutal.
Oh, This week, we had a lot of great races today. That Distaff Showdown in the Azeri, Tappan Trice, Tampa Bay Derby, Correction, Rosa Veloce doing her thing again. What did you enjoy the most?
I liked watching Tappan Trice just grind it out, man. And Secret Oath's return was very, very impressive. I'm looking forward to a big year from last year's Kentucky Oaks winner.
Can Tappan Trice
We'll see.
be effective for Saturday in May?
I think he can be, yes.
One more prep to get there. We're back on Thursday. We'll see you at 3 Eastern on FS2. Hope you join us. Well, West Tappan Trice got it done. A little slow out of the gate, very slow into stride. Last to first, though, to get those Derby points. Plenty to qualify to get into the starting gate for that first Saturday in May. They'll have one more prep before he goes for Todd Pletcher. 6th win in that race for the Hall of Fame trainer. And how about this comeback from last year's Kentucky Oaks winner, Secret Oath, for the coach, D. Wayne Lucas. Impressive in that showdown with Clairiere in the Azeri.